Welcome to Sony PlayStation E3 2016 review or discussion and review with Dave and Dirty. And we're just going to do like basically a rundown of what happened at Sony's conference. Sorry guys, I haven't been really covering E3 that much. I did something with EA's. I did something with EA's conference, Microsoft's, and I'm doing Sony. The other ones will probably be covered Friday night during the podcast. I'll just randomly talk about them. But just have been busy lately and haven't really had a lot of time with everything going on. But I do want to do a Sony discussion because I did see Sony's for sure. And I've seen most of E3 now. There's some things I got to see, like Ubisoft's and the end of Bethesda. I seen some of Nintendo's with Zelda, which looks great, but in my opinion, that still is not enough. A Zelda's going to be fucking awesome, but that's just one game. Like, it's like saying, oh, well, God of War was amazing looking, now just let's imagine if Sony just had God of War coming. It's just one game, but with all that other stuff, it looks fantastic. Like, it look great, but the Zelda does look really cool. It looks like a really cool fucking Zelda, I have to say that. But it's just, it's not enough to justify the purchase of a Wii U. It's just not,
So you're not going to re-get a Wii U for that Zelda?
I wouldn't do it. I couldn't. Even if how great the God of War looks, if I sold my PlayStation and all they had coming was God of War, I wouldn't buy a PlayStation again just for God of War. Same thing with Uncharted 4. If I didn't play that, I just can't buy a console for one game, and that's all I really want, and that would be Zelda,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do that. That's just ridiculous. That's not. And it's just one game. One game's not enough to justify a purchase of a console. That's ridiculous. But yeah, Sony's conference was on fire. I liked it. I think, briefly, just the rundown of Sony's conference before I go into, what we saw. It's not going to be in order, but just in general, Sony's conference, I have to say, if you compare it to Microsoft, Microsoft had a fantastic show, but where Sony, really like Microsoft shined on, basically hardware. They showed a new Elite controller. They showed a Slim. They showed, they gave us a general idea of what the Scorpio is going to be, and they nailed it with, hardware. But, this community is all about gameplay, right? They always say, oh, it's all about the gameplay. It's all about the gameplay. We don't care about that. We don't care about this. We care about the gameplay. We don't care about consoles. We just want to know about the games, blah, 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 blah. Well, Sony pretty much gave you gameplay, back to gameplay, back to gameplay, back to back. Most of those trailers they showed was gameplay. It wasn't CGI trailers. There was some CGI stuff, but it was a lot of gameplay. And that's what everybody loves. Everybody loves gameplay, right, Dirty?
That's true.
Everybody loves gameplay. So I will say, I'll say it right here. I'm going to say it right here. In my opinion, if I was judging from a hardware aspect, who won E3 hardware-wise, I would have to say Microsoft. Now, if I'm judging from who, won by showing the most gameplay and everything, and games I'm looking forward to, I'd say a little bit more. I'd have to say Sony, because Microsoft did show some good games that I'm looking forward to, like Sea of Thieves, ReCore looks cool. They showed the Gears of War. Forza Horizon 3. They showed games too, but I'm saying actual gameplay and stuff. See, that's what Sony had on Microsoft. Other than the Scorpio, which was a surprise that they showed it, even though a lot of us thought we might see the Neo and all that. Sony surprised me at their conference. Microsoft surprised me with the actual talking about the Scorpio. That surprised me. But everything else was not a surprise. I knew the Slim was coming, all that. Sony showed shit I didn't even know a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Like that game Days Gone, that is hot. Like that shit looked raw. Like that was awesome. Like they showed that in the beginning and then they went into the actual gameplay at the end. I was like, holy shit. I was like, because it kind of reminds me of like The Last of Us meets like some kind of biker thing, but just instead of like not clickers, there's actual zombies. It's like a Walking Dead type Last of Us. Like it's just really cool. That's the game I'm most excited for out of anything. Like it just looks great. And it looks like, it's like seeing that. I forgot about Last of Us 2. I didn't even care that Sony didn't even show Last of Us 2. I was like, we got our Last of Us 2, kind of. I was like, this whole new game. I was like,
Yeah.
because it looks a lot like The Last of Us. But yeah, basically Sony, they started out with the whole music thing, and then they went right into God of War. And it was this cool. Like, he's teaching his son how to hunt, and he's running into different, monsters, and it was awesome. Like, what do you think of the whole God of War thing?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome as well. But I want to know more about the timeline, because we all know, starting with the original God of War on the PS2, it was back in Greek mythology, and it's like now that, like, he's not in like modern time, but he's not in that time of Greek mythology. You know what I'm saying? He's in a totally different world. So I want to know, like, what happened in between, the God of War and, in the God of War and now the God of War that we have now. You know what I'm saying? Because at first I was thinking it was like a prequel, but as it kept playing, I'm like, no, because I'm like, it's Greek mythology, and it's like none of that is there. None of that look and feel of the original God of War is there. It looked more like modern times.
And
You
that's what's
know?
the thing is, though. That's what's beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
that's great. It's not an exact replica, replica. I can't even say the word of, the original God of Wars. It's the same thing with Resident Evil. Even though Resident Evil, I'm not sitting there saying Resident Evil is an exclusive or anything, but I'm just saying the thing I liked when they showed Resident Evil, it's a whole new experience to Resident Evil. It's not just the same copy and paste. Here you go. We know we're playing another Resident Evil. No, I could play that Resident Evil like I played that demo, and now I wouldn't even think really of Resident Evil until I see certain things. Like, if you go upstairs, I don't know if you played the demo, but there's certain ways you can complete the demo, and it's really fun. And you go up. Me and Bear Hugger was showing me some stuff, or Fisto. He was showing me some things, and there's this picture that you pick up, and it actually has, like, the umbrella sign. You actually see where they have some connection, this family, with Umbrella, but it's like, other than that, I wouldn't really know that it was Resident Evil. I would think it was like more like PT or something. And it's just really cool. I just like they went a whole other route. And it's the same thing with God of War. They're going a whole other route that we don't know, and that's good. I don't want to do the same copy and paste over and over and over again. One thing about Uncharted 4, that's what I'm talking about. Uncharted 4, it's a great game, but it's just basically Uncharted, which they added a lot to it, but it's still very similar to the other Uncharted games in some kind of aspect. This new God of War, it looks like a different game. If it wasn't for the guy looking like Kratos, I mean, that's the only thing. It's the same. I'm saying. Do you agree, or?
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a totally different feel, even though that it is Kratos, and we see that he don't have his blades and the chains that's around his arm. He actually got like an axe or something, and that
And
axe.
that's what I meant to say. What I meant to say, like, if it wasn't for, if that guy didn't, wasn't like Kratos, that's what I'm trying to say. If it wasn't for Kratos that actually being Kratos, take that character Kratos out of it, you wouldn't even know that was God of War, really. It was like, it had a hunting, aspect to it, a survival aspect. Did you see that? Did you notice all that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it had different things you normally don't see in God of War. That was what was cool.
yeah.
So I like that, and it's the same thing with Resident Evil. It was like a PT mixed with Outlast type, but you can actually get an axe and swing the axe. It had weapons in it, unlike an Outlast where you just have like like a camera, and it's different. It's a different approach. I would have never expected that for them to do that with Resident Evil. That was like a whole new twist. That was cool, and like God of War. Same thing. I like the whole bow and arrow and he's aiming. Like it's not it. We're used to that whole like basically. I don't know. With God of War, I get like this like hack and slash game. Like it's like a button masher. This one ain't gonna be so much like that. It don't look like.
Yeah.
And that was cool. That's a really good way to start the show. Like, really good way to kick it. And, that's something that they like, usually Sony or one of the, like, if they had, like, a surprise like that, they would hold till the end, But, no, they kicked it off with that bitch. And, sometimes they could kick it off real good and it could go really bad, but that wasn't the case with this. They kicked it off and they kept the momentum going.
Yeah.
Next they showed was the Days Gone. They showed the first, basically trailer thing for that. What do you think of Days Gone?
Days Gone, man. At first when they first showed, I'm like, oh yeah, it looked, pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? But when they re-showed it at the end, just to, see how the environment was, how those infected was, the zombies was, how they were just running, and they was running in packs. And whoever was playing the game, they was taking out the automatic assault rifle and it just taking them out. And what I like was the ones that he was hitting in the front, they was falling, and the ones that was in the back was actually like climbing over. You know what I'm saying? Climbing over the wounded to get to him. Just to see that little detail like that, man. It was cool. And when he got on top of the roof on that, I guess you could say it was like a water tank or something like that. Just to see him coming in all directions, coming at him, and there's no way for him to go. Nowhere for him to go. That was just, I was like, damn, I want to play that.
Yeah, that it just looks to me it looks really cool. Like the whole zombie type biker like survival. Like it looks a lot like it looks a lot like Last of Us mixed with Walking Dead, mixed with like some like he's riding on the motorcycle. It's kind of like Last of Us meets bikers and Walking Dead. It looks cool. I mean, it's a game that I like that I didn't know about, and that was like that's how E3 should be, a surprise. None of this leaked out shit. I didn't see one thing about Days Gone. I didn't. Maybe it was out there. I didn't see it. It surprised me, and that's what I love about. That's what I love about E3, the surprises. But this shit has been going on for the past couple years. Microsoft show. I'm sorry to say, I knew most of everything they were going to show. It wasn't a surprise, but it was a damn good show at the same time. Even though I knew it was there, it was still they put together a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Green Comet, for watching. Shockwave, what's up, buddy? The Grenade Smuggler, Video Game Lover 58. Thank you guys for watching. God of War 4's combat kind of looks like Dark Souls. Yeah, I see that a little bit, but I mean it still looks good. I mean I like the God of War. It just looks good. Like now my history with God of War, I'm not. My brother was always in the God of War. He beat it on God mode or, whatever the highest difficulty was. He had a T-shirt, that he always wore. He loved God. He just loved God of War. He was more of the God of War person growing up. But I played the first two, just like the beginnings of the game, like, the first quarters of the game. The most I put into any type of God of War was the remastered. That's when I played the most. So I'm not like the biggest God of War fan, but this God of War looks really good. And the other ones did too. I just never never got into God of War like that because my brother, he always played it. I was always into, I like the, like the original Xbox, and all that. I don't know. I like God of War. I just didn't get deep in those games. The third one will be the remastered one will be the first one I'll beat when I finish that. I'm about halfway through it. But this new one, like, it just looks good. It got me interested. But yeah, it looks good. Okay, so next one, Horizon Zero Dawn. And like I said, this won't be in order probably. I might be in order. I wrote down stuff. Just been really busy lately, been tired, and I'm doing the best I can. I had people asking me they wanted me to do a Sony review, so I'm giving it to you guys. I was going to hold off till Friday till I saw the rest of the conferences, like the rest of Ubisoft and the rest of or all of Ubisoft. I haven't even watched that yet, but the rest of Bethesda. But I'm gonna do the Sony one right here. But yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. What do you think of that? We did know that one was going to be shown. What do you think of that, Dirty?
That game right there, man. Day one buy for me. I know there's three. Forza Sports, Motorsports, and Horizon 2 that I've missed out
No,
on.
no, 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 not Horizon, not Forza Horizon. No, Horizon Zero Dawn. The one
Oh, the PlayStation. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's another game. Day one buy for me. That game looks awesome. Just how she was taking the like they're like robots, they look like animals, but she had like different bows that she can use, like arrows she can use to take down or to hold them down to the ground, and she actually like reprogrammed one so she can ride them, and it was cool from what they showed, and the game looked beautiful as well too.
Oh, it's going to be a great game. The only thing that scares me, it's Guerrilla Games, and I'm not the biggest Killzone fan. I still got Shadowfall. I haven't played the campaign. I played the multiplayer. I'm not going to shit all over the game. Like, the multiplayer is not bad. It's just not my favorite multiplayer. I've played it before, and I've enjoyed a little bit what I have played. But Killzone, I still got to play the single player. I picked it up, probably about 9 months ago. I finally picked the game up. I played the multiplayer free when they had it free a few times on Plus. That's when I got to experience multiplayer. But I do plan on playing Killzone Shadowfall 4. But I don't hate Killzone. It's just not my favorite series. But this game is not nothing of Killzone, like a first-person shooter. It's its own thing, and I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm looking really forward to it. I'm hoping Guerrilla Games, basically does things right. Don't do just their normal thing where they just make a pretty game that's boring. I hate to say that. I think this game's going to be one of their masterpieces, and I'm looking forward to it. It looks something different. Like the whole robot, fucking, dinosaurs or whatever they are. It looks good. It looks good. It's another great game coming. But one thing I want to say before I go any further. God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, all these games doesn't look like a lot of these games. Do you think they could? You think they're going to be on looking like that on the PS4 or the Neo?
You know what? I asked myself the same question when I was watching it. Especially
What are we seeing gameplay for? Are we seeing gameplay for the Neo, or is it the PS4 I got sitting right there? Because can my PS4 do that God of War? Can my PS4 do the Horizon Zero Dawn? Can mine do the Days Gone? I just want to know, do you think that PS4 is capable of doing it? Like those, like what they showed us, like graphic wise, do you think that one can do? You think it's going to look like that on my PS4?
I
Or
hope
am I going to need the Neo? Or are they showing me? Because a lot of these games, I mean, I could be wrong, but a majority of these games look like they're coming in 2017.
Yeah, a lot of the Sony I think is coming 2017.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to ask that question because that's how I'm feeling it. I feel a lot of these games were demonstrated basically like basically probably running from the Neo standpoint, probably a PC that's capable of doing what the Neo is going to do, not what the PS4 is going to do. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I mean, we look at the game we got. Look at Uncharted 4. It's beautiful. But these games raise the bar a little bit higher, in my opinion. Like this. Did you see those zombies in Days Gone on that last part where they're all running over each other? I was like, damn. I was like, holy shit, that looks good. Uh,
Yep.
but I had to ask that question. And what are you on the same track with me on that? With the whole basically could be possibly the Neo they're showing, like what the Neo's capable of pushing out, not the current.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I had no doubt, especially seeing that God of War for the first time. I'm like, man, the game looks gorgeous, and then I'm like, when it ended, I'm like, was that the Neo version or was that just regular PlayStation? You know what I'm saying? Because it's coming out 2017, so it's going to have a Neo mode for it. So is that an early version we seeing of the Neo? I mean, anybody ask that question because we know a Neo is coming out.
And in another game that I wanted before we go any further that I forgot, I'm trying to keep it in order. It could be all over the place. The Last Guardian, they showed that, I believe, after Days Gone the first time. The Last Guardian actually looks a lot better. I think they the graphic wise, it actually looks pretty good. What do you think of Last Guardian?
Yeah. I was interested in the Last Guardian back when they showed it for the PS3, and I thought it was just forgot about. And then when they actually showed it at last year PlayStation Experience, I'm like, yeah, I want to know what's up with the game. It looked like a fun game. It kind of reminded me of the game Echo and the other game where it had the big giants where you had to climb up and find their weak spots and stuff like that. It kind of reminded me of that game. I guess like the art style kind of reminded me of that because everything is so big and he's like a small child or a small man or whatever. But yeah, I'm still interested in the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's up? Let me give him Joni. Thank you for watching, buddy. Jack moved Johnny. I enjoyed playing NBA 2K with you. He beat me 2 games. I got lucky, beat him once. Thank you for watching, buddy. We had fun playing NBA 2K. Silent Night, thank you for watching. Shockwave, like I said earlier. Blue Knight, thank you for watching. The Grenade Smuggler and Green Comet, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. And Video Game Lover 58, thank you. But yeah, Last Guardian, I'm kind of getting interested in it. It looks good. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, I just love The Last Guardian. I mean, I played Shadow Colossus. I actually played it. I didn't get to finish it. But a lot of these guys, they're jumping on this whole Last Guardian and saying Shadow of the Colossus. They didn't even fucking play Shadow of the Colossus. That's the funny thing.
Right.
All of a sudden they love Shadow of the Colossus, and they never fucking played it probably. I don't know. But yeah, it looked good. I have to give it to them. Sony showed some more gameplay for Last Guardian. Looks good. The whole Detroit looks really good. Detroit. What did you think of Detroit? Did you enjoy what they showed of that?
Detroit. I'm trying to picture it.
That's the one that from the makers of Heavy Rain. Uh,
Um, Detroit. I remember the name, but I can't picture the game for some reason. Detroit.
I don't know. It was like probably
Is that the one with the lady that's like in the subway or something, or like
yeah.
neon lights and stuff? Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I will have to. It looks good, but I have to see some more. I'm
Yeah,
not sold on it. I have to see some more.
yeah, I'm not it's not gonna be like a day one buy for me, but I probably will get it day one because I enjoyed Heavy Rain. Uh,
Yeah.
I didn't like Heavy Rain as much as Beyond Two Souls. Like I was more of a Beyond Two Souls fan over of Heavy Rain. I just thought it was a better game. I thought the story was better. I liked the gameplay. I especially loved when she became a like they trained her to be like the super soldier, and she had like, you know, the powers of the ghost. It was just really cool. Like I thought it was cool how they did that. I just liked the story. I liked everything a lot better. The problem with Heavy Rain, it was just some parts were a little slow. Like it would, but Heavy Rain was good too. I'm not saying it was a bad game by any means. I enjoyed it too. But I just enjoyed Beyond Two Souls more, and I know a lot of people didn't like Beyond Two Souls. Well, Beyond Two Souls got a lot of hell because it was one of those last PlayStation exclusives, you know, of last you know, before the generation ended, and people were just shitting on it just to shit on it because it was a Sony exclusive. But
Right.
this one, this one had like the guy that was in the elevator, and basically he was in a suit and tie, and you know he's walking through the halls, shit like that. It looked cool. It looks graphic wise, it looks pretty good. It's probably gonna have a good story. That you know they're good at telling great stories. That developer. But I mean, I'm with you. I have to see more on it though. To be honest, I'm not totally sold on it. But then I believe they showed Resident Evil. And I believe it's Resident Evil 7. It said Biohazard. I don't know if they're going to do it is technically, I think, Resident Evil 7. I think it's not like a reboot or anything like that. I think it's Resident Evil 7. Um, and I have to say, from the demo that I played, I enjoyed it. You know, um,
One question, Dave, because I also downloaded the demo yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to play it today. Um, is it first person view or is it third person? Is it in first person?
it's a first person. It's kind of like a little bit like how you know, like it's like Outlast, but you actually can grab stuff, and you know you can hold an axe. Like I got the axe. Like me and Bear Hugger, Fatal, me Fist Me, whatever he wants to go by. We were talking last or yesterday. We were talking yesterday on party chat, and he was playing it too while I was live streaming it, and I did the first ending. I got the first ending, which basically you unlock the back door, I believe, or the front door. I don't know. You have to unlock the door, and basically they say, "Welcome to the family," and the guy punches you, and then they show you the video footage of the people getting killed from the video, and then there's the second ending is with the phone call upstairs. And we actually figured out how to get the fuse, because there's all these different things you have to figure out with this demo. And supposedly, I could be wrong, but yesterday when me and Bear Hugger were talking, there was nobody that found out the third ending. I don't know if they found it out today or what, but the third ending was the one nobody could figure out yet. But I don't know if it's figured out now. I haven't checked today. But there is a third ending, and people are trying to figure it out, which, like I said, they could have figured it out today sometime, or maybe they still didn't. But it's really cool. You get different endings, and you'll see like a lady if you turn a certain way, but you have to catch her. There's all kinds of little Easter eggs and, you know, different hidden things. It's actually pretty cool, but it's like right when it really starts getting good, the demo ends. So that's the only disappointing thing. Like I want to see, like you don't get to see if there's actually you get to shoot a gun. I don't know that yet. You know, like stuff like that. But it's a first person view. I believe it's a VR game too. I think it would be really cool in VR, Sony VR. But I am sold on Resident Evil 7. Um, Another thing Bear Hugger said, basically that demo is not going to be in the actual game. It's just to give you an idea of the real game. So, you know, but what they showed at E3 and what I played on the demo, it's got me excited for the game. And the game's a day one buy for me. I love this whole new direction that they're going with Resident Evil. I think it was a smart move. But I'm a weirdo. I'm one of the weird ones that liked Resident Evil 6. I like all the Resident Evils. There wasn't one Resident Evil I played that I didn't like. And I enjoyed 6. I thought 6 was a good game. I liked the 4 different campaigns you could play. I thought it had a lot of gameplay. And, you know, to me, I wouldn't have cared if they went in the directions of Resident Evil 6, but I know that would have made people go nuts. But I do think this is a better direction than 6. I think this is their best move, what they did. But Resident Evil 7, did you like what you seen, Dirty?
Yeah, I've seen from from the demo. Even though I haven't played it yet, but I will play it after we finish this podcast.
Yeah,
It looks
it's not
nice.
it's not
What's that?
long.
Yeah, what is it like about 15 minutes or something like that?
Probably not even about that. That to be fair, 15 minutes,
So,
give or take.
gotcha. Yeah, I'll check it out once we're done here.
Okay, but overall, what they showed at E3, did you think it was cool? Or you sold on it, or you have to see more? Or...
I actually like what I seen, even though I didn't know what it was until they actually showed Resident Evil Biohazard VR. I was like, damn, that's cool. Then I'm like VR. I'm like, I'm hoping they bring something like that to the regular console and just not VR.
Okay, okay. Then I believe they went into the whole thing about VR and that it's going to be $3.99 and it's going to have 50 games. Has your thoughts on VR changed since the last time you talked about VR in this podcast?
Uh,
Are you still gonna? Are you against VR still, or are you not with it, or you have to wait, or?
I'm not against VR. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I just like bringing up the facts where when another company does something, they down it, but when they company does something innovative, it's sliced bread. I have nothing against VR, you know what I'm saying, but I personally think it's just another original Wii, which it was motion control. We never had anything experienced anything like that playing, and I think it's another Connect where the first Connect came out for the 360. It was like voice command. We didn't have to hold no controller. We just played just by moving around, and that's what I think it is. It's probably just going to be a gimmick. People going to buy a couple of games. It's probably going to be a lot of shovelware, just like on the original Wii, and people going to finally put it in the closet like they did their Wii. But I have nothing against it. But I don't want to pay $400 for it. But when it do drop down in price, say about $100, yeah, then I'll pick it up and pick up some of the good games that's for it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, my whole thing with VR is I ever since I was little, I have always wanted virtual reality. But I have to say this, VR is like 50-50. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. And I think it's really depending on the games. If they can get like survival horror games, a lot of good ones, I think that's going to help VR in like in a big way. They're going to have that multiplayer game. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's going to have to be a first person type view shooter, but they're going to have that type of game it's going to have to be a part of VR. I don't know when it's coming, but that's going to be something that's going to help VR when that comes. Some kind of like its own, type of, not saying directly Call of Duty, but something where people can get on there and shoot each other in VR, and it's a blast. It's a great time. And it's gonna be like, and it has to be like a multiplayer. If they can get shit like that, and games like Resident Evil 7 working good in VR, because I know that would be good in VR. Shit like Alien Isolation in VR, but its own game. Like maybe make Alien Isolation 2 VR. That'd be awesome. Just they have to have the game support. If they don't support it, it's not going to work. But my whole take with VR, I don't see all these companies jumping on VR and them not thinking it's going to succeed. I couldn't see Sony putting all this money into VR and taking a chance. They have to have a good idea that it's going to succeed. They must know in the back of their heads that it has a good opportunity of succeeding. Same thing with Microsoft with doing the Scorpio, and they're going to make, be partnered with Oculus Rift. That's like the whole, I think it's like a rumor type thing, or it might be, I don't know. I've seen different, rumors and stuff to do with that, with the whole Oculus Rift thing. Same thing with the HTC. They wouldn't have, and just Oculus Rift in general and HTC on PC. I'm just talking with the whole Oculus Rift rumor with the Scorpio. But all these companies would not be doing VR if it was going to fail. They must have something in the back of their minds knowing this is probably the next big thing. Same thing with the rumor with Nintendo and the NX and a virtual reality handheld mixed console. Nintendo would, I'm not saying Nintendo is doing that for sure, but that's a rumor. And, a lot of these rumors that we heard are, true most of the time. So I'm just saying, I think that these companies know VR is going to do something. That's the next direction that they want to go, you know. But it's a 50-50 thing. It could work, it could not. You know, I mean, that's my whole take on it. But they supposedly going to have 50 games in the launch window, $3.99. You know, it is pricey because if you don't have a PlayStation, you got to go out. You got to get the PS4 and you got to get the VR. It's not cheap. Now, the one thing I wish they would have addressed, but they didn't talk about the Neo. You know, is it going to look a lot better on the Neo and it's not going to look so great on the PS4? They didn't address that. So it must look decent on the PS4. It must work because I couldn't see them dropping the VR in October and then you get the VR home and you see it and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then the PlayStation Neo drops or whatever they're going to call it and it looks 10 times better with the VR and then you're like, what? You know, that'd be kind of like fucked up if you ask me. So I guess it must work pretty good with the PlayStation. It didn't like people were saying, oh, I even saw it on some of the bigger channels. They were saying that, like you showed me. What's that one channel you showed me with the whole thing that they said the VR is shitty on the PS4?
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. So I mean that it is what it is. Farpoint. What do you think of that? Do you remember that game? They showed Farpoint.
No, I don't.
Uh, it's like another first-person shooter. Basically, I don't know. They didn't show it. It looked kind of to me like I don't know. I don't. It was like it was basically walking around in like this like desert type thing, like and the gun was basically had like a holographic image. It wasn't too much. It did. I have to see more of that game. I mean, they showed a lot of games, so I know if you don't remember that one, I don't blame you.
Yeah,
But
I don't remember seeing that one.
they
Maybe I turned away or something.
yeah, they didn't show too much of it. It was something was flying around in the air like a little droid, and it had like a little like robotic tail. I don't know if you remember that. But I don't know. I have to. I'll say, in my opinion, I have to see more on it. But you know, and you don't remember that with like the spider thing. You don't remember that?
No, I don't. I must. Maybe I stepped away or something and
Oh,
came back. I don't remember that.
yeah. Well, I mean, it could. I have to see more, and that's just my stance on it. If you forgot, yeah. I mean, I'm so many games we saw with E3. I don't blame you. So Farpoint. Then they said Star Wars Battlefront. That's when they were showing the whole X-wing VR missions. I guess they're gonna do something with Battlefront with VR, which is cool. Batman Arkham VR. You know, I believe is that Arkham like the is that the original Batman, but just in VR? I don't know. But that'd be cool if it is, or if they're making their own Batman. I don't know. They said they showed Batman in VR. Uh, Final Fantasy 15, I believe that's in. Is that in VR too, or?
No, 15. No, that's actual. That's
Or
actual.
I might have that. I didn't know if that was written down. Well, I know they're remastering that, right?
They remaster in 7.
What about 15? Well, not my bad. What's going on with Final Fantasy 15?
Final Fantasy 15. Just more like it kind of reminds you a little bit of like Xenoblade, how it looks, how they
That
run.
ain't in VR. That ain't in VR. I thought it was. That's what I have wrote down. I was just watching the conference and writing shit down, and that's what I had written down for Final Fantasy 15. But it's not in VR. Or maybe I messed up when I wrote that. I don't know. I'm
I
not
don't
a big Final Fantasy guy. That's why. You know. No, I think Final Fantasy 15 is in VR. I'm typing in right now, and it's showing up VR. Yeah, it's VR.
okay.
Okay, I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I'm not. The new Final Fantasy that's coming out, the demo we got, it looks cool. I mean, I'm not saying the game looks great, but I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy. The only one I ever played was Final Fantasy VII, and my buddy played it, and I just sat there and literally watched. I played a little bit. He basically played the game, and we were just bullshitting while he was playing it for a while, like the days I was over his house. He was all into it, but I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy. That was the only game I've ever messed with Final Fantasy VII. That was it. But it looks good. Then they showed Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which I have to. I know I'm gonna sound like I was taking shots at Call of Duty. I'm sorry, that campaign looks cool. I think it looks. I always enjoyed the Call of Duty campaign, but Black Ops 3. That was the first one I could not finish the campaign. I can't get myself to finish it. I think Black Ops 3 is a decent multiplayer. I know a lot of people hate on it. It's not that bad. As they say, it's not great either, but it's definitely better than Ghost and Advanced Warfare. But I have to say, I was watching the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare trailer, and he's throwing the grappling hook and doing all this shit, and I'm like, what game is this? Like, I'm like, this looks awesome. And then come to find out it's Call of Duty. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that campaign looks good, and I usually play all the Call of Duty campaigns. I liked Advanced Warfare's. I even like Ghost. I like the Ghost one with the dog. I liked it. I liked Black Ops 2's campaign. I liked all the Call of Duties, that I got into, that I actually played. Now there was some Call of Duties. I never played every Call of Duty. I'm an old school Call of Duty. I like 2. That was like my favorite one when it didn't have the perks and all that bullshit. It wasn't like how it is now. Like it was straight up just shooting, people, and you didn't have all these advantages. Modern Warfare is good, but like I just played Black Ops, the original, the first Black Ops. That was the first time I ever messed with it. Was on the backwards compatible. I skipped out on Black Ops because I was just certain times I was burnt out on Call of Duty, and I just basically skipped it. And I'll be honest with you, the reason I skipped Black Ops, I was somewhere where I couldn't get out. So that's the reason I skipped Black Ops, to be honest. But this one I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get it. I think it looks fun, and it comes with you have to pay a little bit more, whatever. You get Modern Warfare Remastered, which that looks good. So, what do you think of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare? What they showed, Dirty?
It actually looked good. When I was looking at it, I thought it was Call of Duty. I'm like, this Call of Duty. I'm like, they just in space, like they showed in that early trailer. But I wasn't for sure. And yeah, it does look good. You know what I'm saying? Then they finally came out and said, Advanced Warfare, whatever the hell it's called. So I'm like, that's pretty cool, but I might get it, but I think my day one would still have to be that Battlefield 1, just because they took it back to the World War, 1 and 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I want. I was hoping that this Call of Duty that's coming out now in November would have actually went back to its roots, because I actually like those better. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? I might grab both of them at the same time.
Now, the thing with Battlefield, I just want to say this. I just want to say this to everybody that, I'm just not saying you, but I'm just saying a lot of people are saying they're jumping over to Battlefield because it's going back to its roots and stuff. But one thing about Battlefield is a totally different game from Call of Duty. Like, Call of Duty is an arcade type shooter. Battlefield is a different game. It's not like that. Battlefield Hardline was a little bit more like, had like that little bit more of an arcadey feel, but not so much. It had it, but I'm just saying, like, it was there a little bit, but it was still Battlefield, But when you go to Battlefield 4, like where I started out with the Battlefield series, that game is nothing like Call of Duty. Like, one thing they always tell people with Battlefield, forget everything you know about Call of Duty. It's a different game. It's a game you have to work as a team. It's just a different game, and I think a lot of people that are jumping off of the Call of Duty, that are used to Call of Duty, they might not like Battlefield. They might not like it. It's a different game. It's different. I just want to say that. I know you played Battlefield. I know you've played it, but I'm just saying, I'm just giving people that that heads up before you jump into Battlefield, and then you'll be like, hey, this ain't like how Call of Duty is. it's not exactly like it. It's more of a team-based game. You have to work as a team. There's different things. It's like you have support and all that stuff. It's not basically just like you can run and gun and be your one-man army, but not so much, you know. Um, but it's just Battlefield's bigger maps. You know, it's just. I mean, they have close quarter stuff. They make the maps smaller and stuff for close quarter, but those maps usually are pretty big. You know,
Yeah.
it's a different game. It's a different game. Uh, but yeah, Battlefield 1. I know this wasn't a part of Sony's conference. I don't think they showed it. But what we got, because we were talking about Call of Duty. But that does look good. Now, Crash Bandicoot, they announced the remaster. They're remastering the 3 original Crash games, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
All right. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm excited for it. You know, I haven't played a Crash game since PlayStation One, and I knew I had a feeling that they was going to do something with Crash when we all played it in. Spoiler alert: Nathan Drake's, Uncharted 4. When they let you actually play the game, on a small level, I was like, yeah, they about to make a new Crash, but they about to remake it. They about to do something with it because they just not going to throw Crash into Nathan Drake and just forget about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, my whole thoughts on Crash Remastered, I think it's a good idea in a way. I think it's a better idea to test the war. I know what they're doing. Basically, that's cheaper for them to do than making a whole new Crash and then this generation not caring about Crash, and then they just wasted a bunch of money. See, at least if they remaster them, it don't cost them that much, as to making a whole new game. So if that does well, then make a new Crash Bandicoot, which I'm fine playing the remasters. I haven't played Crash in a long time, so that's perfect. I'll be getting them. And then they showed Crash with Skylanders, which I'm not a big Skylanders guy, but it looked cool, but I'm not going to probably play this whole Skylanders, What about you?
No, I don't play Skylanders.
Yeah, I'm not into the whole, even though Crash is a part of it, no. I'll get the remasters of Crash, but it did look cool. And then I know Grimpachi. What's up, Grimpachi? He's in the chat, and I know this game. I'm about to just throw it out there. I know this stole the show for Sony. For him, he told me it just basically completed E3 for him. Lego, The Force Awakens. He loved it. He loves those Lego games, and the Star Wars one that's coming, The Force Awakens, looks awesome. What about you with Lego The Force Awakens, Dirty?
The Lego games are cool. I played some of them, not all of them, and some of them are cool. You know what I'm saying? I think the last one I played was maybe the Batman 2. I think it was. That was pretty cool. I don't got nothing against the Lego ones because the Lego games are actually fun. Some of them are better than the original game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't. I like that one Lego game, which was like, I think it was the Marvel one that they first released this generation for the new console. The Marvel one with they were selling it cheap a few times for like $10. I don't remember exactly what it was called. It was a Lego game. It was pretty cool. You could be Iron Man and the Hulk, and it was cool. I'm not big on the Lego games. Not saying I wouldn't play one if I had it, but I just don't go out and buy them. I don't. I just play them if I could play a demo or whatever. If I got it free from PlayStation Plus, I'd play it. Or maybe if it was like $5, I played one of the Batman ones. It was pretty good. But it really isn't my thing. Then Kojima came out basically talking about I believe it's called Death Standing.
Something like that.
I think it's Death Standing. What do you think of that?
The trailer was weird. I believe it's going to be some type of horror game. Just the way how I looked at the trailer, where you seen like fingerprints and shit, and then you seen like a little baby, and he all balled up, butt ass naked and shit, and baby butt ass naked. Then you see little hands all over him and shit. it was weird, and I'm just like, this is going to be some type of horror, freaky shit. So
Well, one thing I noticed with this, did you notice that they got Daryl, basically Normus Reed's, that's his name, I believe, Daryl, from
yeah,
The Walking Dead. Did
uh,
you notice that he was in PT and now they got him doing this? And the whole PT thing fell through because Kojima left Konami. So like if you look at the whole picture, like Normus Reedus was basically going to be in the Silent Hill, but now he's going to do this Death Standing. So he must have a deal worked out with Kojima. So
yeah.
he's going to be in this game. So do you think this game could possibly be like PT or
It could be, you know what I'm saying? And I think why I think Kojima probably went with him again is because since they canceled the game, so that means his contract is over. So it's like, okay, we're not doing the game. Then I'm pretty sure Kojima said, "Hey, I got a project I'm working on. Is maybe something similar to PT. It's a horror game. I want you to star in it." I'm pretty sure that's how he got him since PT was canceled. That means his contract with that game was canceled as well. So he was able to go with Kojima to make this game. But it might be. But then again, I'm thinking it might be something a little bit weird than PT.
Well, because he's on this like island with a baby, and there's like a cord, and he has handcuffs, and then he has like handprints around him, and then the blood's there, and then the blood's on him, and the handprints are on him, and the handprints is going, off to basically, wherever, and it has like his body's all like got like it looks like handprints, and he has like dog tags. So I don't know if this is gonna be exactly like we don't know what it's gonna be, but I have a feeling it's gonna be a good game. Now I just want to see this. There's a lot of people like I seen hating on this game for some reason on the Xbox side. In I mean, I don't know why people. Well, people have like some people have a thing against Kojima. Like I have heard that he is basically overrated. Do you think he's overrated?
Um, I mean, I just think he's good at what he do, and what he does was Metal Gear, and I love every Metal Gear. This last one it's all right. You know what I'm saying? I know Kojima didn't put his hardest into it because the falling out they had with Konami, and I'm pretty sure Konami had some stuff to do with the last Metal Gear that kind of got me on sideways with it. But I mean, Kojima is good with the Snake series, and he's also good with Zone of Enders. I wish he'd bring that back, but it is good to see him do something other than Solid Snake. So this right here would let you know how good he is without having Metal
Is
Gear.
is he overrated though? Would you say he's overrated?
I wouldn't say he's overrated. You know what I'm saying? He's just good at the Metal Gear series.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, for somebody to say he's overrated, I mean, what is he overrated of? Because basically, all we know is he did all the Metal Gear series and two Zone of Enders. Like,
Well, no, they just think people just. I have heard a lot of people say that he's basically just that. A lot of people just. He's hype them all up just because of the Metal Gear, and he basically saying he hasn't really done that much. A lot. I've even heard people say he's like he's basically trying to make you know he's like a failed movie director trying to be making these games turn into his movies or something. I don't know because a lot of people give
I
you
mean, you see, like when people say stuff like that, he's a failed, film director and blah blah. I see that. This is why I call people in, the gaming community, you know what I'm saying, hypocrites. They contradict themselves because it's like they want the realest shit possible and to look the realest. Now you have one of the best in the industry that brings you that type of gameplay. He brings you that type of action. He brings you that type of cinematic. He brings you that type of, cutscenes. Like, what the fuck do you want from the man? He's bringing you his A game in every direction. But to say, what I'm saying, oh, he's overrated, or he probably failed at films, and okay, if he did fail at films, look what he's doing with video games. He's taking it to a whole nother level. Ain't that's the shit y'all want?
I've even heard it where like I think it was like I'm not. I mean, I don't want to call nobody out, so I'm not going to do that. But I heard one person in the community, a Nintendo guy, basically comparing all his games he has done to movies, and basically says all his games are just copies off of certain big blockbuster movies. I've heard that.
And I mean, it has, and he has said that certain like Solid Snake, what I'm saying, he got the idea from the I think the first was it the first Metal Gear? He got it off, what was that movie called? New York and L.A. I forgot the first part of the title, but yeah, he actually said he got those ideas and some of that. That's why Snake got the patch on his eye, because the main character of the movie had a patch on his eye. He enjoyed those type of movies, foreign movies. To them, our movies are foreign, just like their movies to us are foreign. He loved those type of films here in the States. So for him to, make a character, make a whole video game based on what you love, what I'm saying, and put your own creativity in it, that's cool. Shit, everybody copy off everybody.
Yeah, the industry just in general is, one thing like let's take horror. I mean, I know this isn't going off topic. I'm just throwing you an example. You got horror movies out there. There's been so many movies of horror movies that have been done. We've seen Jason. We've seen Freddy Krueger. All the slashers. We have a guy like Freddy Krueger that can get you in your nightmares. We have Jason that kills campers. You have Michael Myers that kills people only on Halloween. Then you go into ghost movies where you have Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring, the 13 Ghosts. The list goes on. You take horror movies and how every type of horror movie has been done, yet haunted cars, haunted houses, haunted this, haunted that. There's only so much you can do before it's pretty much been done. Like, and that's why, like, with certain horror movies like The Exorcist and Jaws, those movies are timeless classics because basically those were the first of its kind. Then you just have basically things that just copy those movies. Same thing with video games. They basically run out of ideas. But video games, I think, has a little bit more time to before it's like been, completely done, like how horror movies are and stuff. I mean, there's some good writers out there that can come up with some shit that hasn't been done, but you just don't have them writers around really, other than James Wan. That's, he's doing The Conjuring 2, which there's a lot of haunted houses movie, but how he goes about doing it is different, um, but in my opinion, but same with the whole video games thing. With Kojima, the guy's talented. He makes a great game that sells. And some people say his games, they're basically movies because they have long cutscenes, but he does some awesome gameplay, in my opinion. And I like his stories that he tells. I think the Metal Gear series is a fantastic series. The guy does a good job. It's a shame I wasn't on this whole PT hype train. I wasn't that much, when it came into PT, I wasn't that excited about it like everybody, but it probably would have been a good game. I would have bought it and tried it and maybe liked it. But just from that demo, I didn't get what everybody else got. But the guy still can't take credit from him, but I think you have some people just hate on people, hate on him. But I don't think like Kojima's this like mastermind or anything, or this top. I don't hold him up here like a lot of people. I just think I think he's good, but he's not my favorite by far. But I don't hate on him. I don't think he's like terrible or nothing. I think he's a good game designer, but game developer. But I don't know. I just don't hold him on a pedestal. But there is people that just completely just bash him and to try to discredit him. And I don't agree with that. But
I mean, you just gotta give credit, what credit is due.
yeah, you
You know
got
what I'm
to give
saying?
credit where credit's due. The guy made some really good games, so it's what it is.
The
Um,
man does what he does, and he does it well. You know.
so after Death Standing, one thing I might have missed somewhere here, I don't know exactly where it was. They showed Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is an exclusive, I believe. Uh,
Um,
yeah, so
Not sure,
yeah,
but it might be.
it's an exclusive. I believe Sony's. I could be anybody in the comment section. I believe I'm right. Is
Yeah,
Spider-Man
you're right.
an exclusive?
Yeah, you're right because Insomniac is making it.
Yeah. What do you think of Spider-Man?
Day one. Um, I like the Spider-Man, games, that we had, especially like on the 360. Not all of them was good, but most of them was okay. Like Shattered Dimensions, I actually like that. So this one actually looks good. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully Insomniac can do a good job. A better job than I think the couple of few of them that was done was by Sucker Punch. So hopefully, I mean the trailer that they showed looks good, looks promising. So, and I like that they got the suit.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it looks cool. I heard some people say they didn't like the suit or course or something. I don't know. It's
yeah,
just
I like because you can see the expressions on his face now through his eyes, just like in the movie. A lot of people didn't like that his eyes move, but I mean, like, Spider Man been around since whenever the 60s or 70s or whatever it was when he first came to comics, and that's how they had him. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And there's so many different translations of Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? There's one that his eyes don't move. There's some where his eyes are smaller. There's some where his eyes take up almost the whole damn mask. It's just different variations.
Yep. That's it looks good to me. I'll be picking that one up for sure. I think it'll be fun. I'm just hoping that, we're getting all these superhero movies. I want to see some like, I know we got Batman and stuff, but I want to see like a Flash game. I think that'd be so cool, Flash. I'm looking forward to a Spider-Man game. I like to see like a Justice League, not only Batman, but I want to see Superman. I know we're getting Injustice. I know a fighting game, but I'm talking about like a campaign type game. Like I know there's a campaign too in Injustice, but I'm talking an actual like Spider-Man, how that's gonna be. I want to see one like Flash or Justice League, or how they did Batman, Rocksteady. I want to see, Superman maybe like that. Not like Superman 64, but like I know they didn't do that Rocksteady, but I'm just saying I want to see like a Superman game or something, Flash or shit, even Aquaman, even though I'm not the biggest Aquaman, just something different, like it'd be cool. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the Spider-Man game. It looks good. Um, and they showed, I believe at the end, they showed another trailer to Days Gone. What do you think about that last trailer to Days Gone?
I like it. I enjoyed it. Just to see just herds and herds of whatever zombies infected or whatever you want to call them. Just I mean, just chasing him down like they was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? This man running for his life. You know what I'm saying? And he gunning some of them down, but I mean they just coming. You know what I'm saying? It just looked awesome.
Yeah. Hey, like I said earlier, I'm sold on the game. I liked it. Even the second thing they showed of it, which, was actual gameplay. Like I said, I just want to know if that's on the Neo or is that going to be on our PS4 looking like that. Um,
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be on the Neo too, because that was a lot of zombies running and falling and tripping and being killed and coming in all different directions and groups and packs.
Now they did,
It might be
uh,
Neo.
they did a lot of zombies on screen with Dead Rising 3, but I'm sorry, this game looks just like graphic wise on a whole new level. Like it's
Yeah,
just
I mean, Dead Rising 3, you know, it it looks good, but that was like a early build for the Xbox One. Yeah, there was a lot of zombies, but when you actually think of it, what was the zombies doing in Dead Rising 3? They was just standing around, barely moving. You know what I'm saying? These they moving, they're running, they're climbing. You know what I'm saying? The Dead Rising, they all just standing still until they see you. Then a few will move, and the other ones they just over there, spinning around in circles half the time or whatever. But I mean, it was still a good game. But this one, these herds are. I just imagine Dead Rising 3 when you run up on a big ass herd, street full of them, and you can barely, you know what I'm saying, get to where you gotta go through all of them. Just imagine all of them chasing you, but they're not when they see you. It's only a few see you at a time.
Hmm. Um, but yeah, so that was the show. I'm not, but the reason I really brought, I wanted to get Old Dirty in here also and do this podcast along with the whole, PlayStation, review instead of just doing a video on it. Me and Old Dirty, we share the same opinion basically when it comes to the whole new consoles. This whole Neo, which wasn't shown by Sony. That's one reason why a lot of people are saying Microsoft won E3 because they shown, they didn't show it, but they talked about the Scorpio. I even saw a video from Stone Fox Media bitching about his first video. He said he was going to do another one, but he was bitching about Sony not even talking about Neo, and he was just all depressed. Now, I'm sorry. You see all this fucking gameplay, and you're going to bitch that they didn't show the Neo? Yeah, I'll say at the same time, yeah, I would have liked to hear something about the Neo to know what the fuck's going on, But I can't sit here and complain when Sony just showed all that gameplay and entertained me, had me sit there from start to finish with their conferences, enjoying it back to back. I wasn't bored at all at that conference. It didn't bore me at all. I know they played music in the beginning, but that's just the beginning. I'm not bored at the beginning. I'm just waiting, till they brought me into God of War, and I thought it was cool. Now, if they would have done some shit like that in the middle of the show, maybe I'd have been bored. But I wasn't bored. They did things just perfectly. But you have people saying that, Sony basically, didn't address the Neo. Microsoft wins because they showed the Scorpio. They talked about the Scorpio, and they showed a Slim and all that, and the Elite controller for Gears of War. But at the same time, with this whole thing with the Neo and the Scorpio, like I said, me and you share the same opinion. Now, I would have liked this with the whole thing with E3, with the Neo. Did you need to be like how people are upset? That they didn't address the Neo. Did that bother you?
No, it didn't. It didn't bother me. It
So,
didn't bother me one bit because I mean, I already know that Sony is going to do something that big. Sony is going to do the PlayStation experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, people got to think. Okay, it was normally traditional to announce your consoles there, but now, Nintendo does their direct. Sony is doing PlayStation experience now, so they want to do it there. Was I shocked that they said they wasn't going to do it at E3? No, because I'm like, then what the hell are they going to show at the experience then?
well,
More VR?
the thing is too with all this, it might not be. The thing is, we might see it at E3. We might see the Neo and the Scorpio be revealed, but it's just not going to be now. It's going to be because what I'm hearing, the Scorpio isn't coming out till not this holiday, but next holiday. So we might see at E3 next year them reveal the Scorpio, and same thing with the Neo. They may reveal it, but these systems aren't even, made yet. That's the thing. They're not even finished. So, of course, we're not going to see a Neo, but people are pissed that they didn't address the Neo or nothing. Which, I wish they kind of would in a way because I wanted to know what's going on with my purchase. The only thing that's got me at ease is the whole thing with the Scorpio. I know that it's not coming till not this holiday, but next holiday. So we're getting what, 5 years out of the well, I'm saying the Xbox life cycle will be 5 years then, right?
What if it come out next year? No, because this holiday season will make both of these consoles 3 years old.
Yeah, this holiday. So, you sure?
Yeah,
Because
this
The Wii U's in its fourth year right now.
yeah, because remember the Wii U came out a year
What did you say?
before
We're in
the
the.
other.
I thought we're in the third year now. Oh, so it'll be fourth. Yeah, it'll be fourth.
So
So
this year is the third, but I'm saying this holiday, if you want to say his birthday, this
right,
holiday, yeah,
right.
it'll be 3 years old this holiday.
So
But yeah, this year it is actually three.
well, but I'm just saying if they drop them holiday, that's pretty much almost close to like 5 years. It'd be right at the borderline, kinda. Not within the fifth year, but right at almost end of 4 years, whatever. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a little better than dropping it this year or the beginning of next year. I think that's a lot better. Scorpio coming out,
But
at the holiday.
but what about Neo? Because remember they saying that you get a better experience with the headset with the Neo.
Yeah, but they did for them not to address it. It must not be true because they're dropping the VR October, and if that comes out like that, where you got a shitty experience, they could probably, possibly, in my opinion, get sued. If they have something that actually performs it how it's supposed to be performed, and they're telling you right now buy the VR, and then that thing's going to run it like shit, and it's not going to run right, and it's going to not work correctly. And they have to address that with people, and people start seeing the Neo and it's running it better and everything else, and they find out that's what it's meant for. I think Sony would be in some trouble. I think, according to I'm hearing from some people, the Neo will have, or the PlayStation VR will have a box that will work without the Neo. Basically, will have that box built in. These are all the rumors I'm hearing. I'm just saying this, all rumors. I'm hearing there's a box that basically will, or some kind of thing that's not in the system that's going to help the PS4. Now, when it comes to the Neo, it's going to have all that built in where it runs like that. So I don't know. That's what I'm hearing, but I would assume if they're going to have pre-orders still in October and they didn't address the Neo, unless they're addressing it, well, the thing is too, they would have to drop the Neo this year before VR. So I know that's not happening if Scorpio isn't coming out till later on down the road. So I don't know. I've asked this question before, and people tell me no, the PS4 works fine with it. But me and you've seen the videos from that one channel you watch, that big channel, that they were addressing that, said the VR runs shitty with the PlayStation VR. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they said they tested it and they had a chance to play with it, so why would they lie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That would be. I don't think that would look good on Sony, even if they don't get sued or whatever. I don't think that. I think they would piss a lot of people off. But the whole thing with this, like with the Scorpio coming out, we know, or possibly around holiday, not this year, but next year. That's not as bad as this year or the beginning of next year. I'm not happy. I'm going to sit here and say this. I'm not happy with what's going on. I'm not one that's going to sit here and say, oh, well, this is what needs to be done. Like, this is good for people that want this. You don't have to buy it. To me, as a consumer, they just shit in my mouth. Just saying. I was at work today, and a guy that don't follow gaming news, there was another guy that actually watched E3 at work, but he's not even that deep into, like, watching YouTube and stuff, but he was like, oh, I seen this thing called E3, he says, I've been checking it out the past couple of years. I just, he's like, I found it. And the other guy sitting next to him, he said they were watching the reveal of the Scorpio. It had the video, that little reveal of them, not reveal of the Scorpio, but them talking about it. And the guy next to him says, "Oh, I hope it ain't good. I hope it don't come out to be good because he says I just bought an Xbox." He says that's bullshit, and even he's saying that, and he don't follow all this YouTube bullshit. He's basically just a regular consumer, bought his Xbox, and he even said that this shit isn't right. he says they're putting out something that's better when that's it's the same thing but better. It's basically like telling you, hey, this is what we should have bought. And then you got some people saying, oh, well, this is for the people that want the high-end stuff. That's not how consoles are. You look back at generations. A console has always been something that was affordable, and if you wanted that high-end shit, you bought a PC. That's when you went to the PC market, if you wanted the best graphics and everything. Consoles were always basically, developers worked with what they had. They worked with outdated, basically outdated, technology, and made it look, the best they could. Am I right, Dirty, or am I crazy?
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, to me, consoles, you know what I'm saying? I've been gaming for a long time, longer than half of these dudes that's in YouTube that probably just started on PlayStation
Yeah,
4.
no, that's the thing. We've been gaming. I'm 32, and you're older than me.
Yeah.
We were around for the NES and all that. Some of these motherfuckers, they just know by, they find an old system at a pawn shop or an old game. We actually experienced that generation, like the Super Nintendo, like the N64. We were around to see what was going on, how people were feeling then. That's where, when you say back in those days, that's how it went. Nowadays it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, and I understand where I have to say where how times have changed. Times do change, things change, so I understand all that. But the whole purpose of a console, from what I knew growing up, was developers worked with what they had. They didn't say, oh, well, there's more power out there. Let's just make another Super Nintendo, and this is the powerhouse Super Nintendo. And you go use this, and it's going to play the same games, but they're going to look better on this machine for $6.99 or $7.99 or $8.99. No. It just had the Super Nintendo, and they worked with what they had. Now all of a sudden we're going, like I've been saying, this whole industry is basically turning into PCs, like the whole console market. You can even see with Microsoft with Windows 10. How you can play with your PC and your console, your Xbox One, and it's all play here or whatever the hell they're calling that thing. It's all cool, but it's kind of. Would you say this is all defeating the purpose of a console?
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, it's like I just brought my Xbox One turned a year old. My PlayStation 4 a year old. You know what I'm saying? It's like now you want to bring out something more better and shiny, and I mean just stick with what we have because there's nothing wrong with it. But then you have people here, you know what I'm saying, in the gaming community talking about, oh no, this is for, the people that want that high end, better performance. Who the hell asked for that? Nobody asked for that in the console.
Well,
where's the people that told Microsoft and Sony, hey, we need a better PlayStation 4 because this one right here, it just ain't working for me. The graphics is not up to par. It should be better. I know it should. Where's these people at?
Now, to be fair, though, there has been a lot of people.
You know what I'm saying, as me growing up playing video games, man, from probably since I was like 4 and 5 years old, you know what I'm saying, a console lifespan was, between, 5, 6 years, maybe 7 tops. You know what I'm saying? And you played the games. The developers, they developed for the system. You know what I'm saying? Some was gooder than other ones. Some knew how to manipulate the machine to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I mean, look at Super NES. The look at like Donkey Kong Country Returns. Look at Donkey Kong Country. You know what I'm saying? Look at like Star Fox. You know what I'm saying? Like those are like polygons. You know what I'm saying? And Genesis had to bring out a 32X to try to mimic polygons. You know what I'm saying? And when you looked at the graphics of, Donkey Kong on the Super Nintendo, you know what I'm saying, Donkey Kong Country, that was amazing that the Super NES actually did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
You bring us a console, you give us a console, but then it's like, you know what? We're gonna bring out another one because we hearing all this rumor. Where's more for VR? Like really? Like what company takes a gamble that's riding strong in the wind with no slowdown whatsoever from launch day to say, hey, you know what, guys? We doing so damn well. We're gonna put out another one just for VR. What company does this? Who sat around this board meeting table and thought of this?
We got 40 million sold. You know what? We're gonna make the same console but stronger. like the whole funny thing is here, we're never gonna see the full potential of the PS4 we got now because they're gonna be focused on Neo graphics, and you're gonna get the shit end of the stick with the console you got now. That's basically what it boiled down to. You're gonna get the shitty frame rates, all that stuff, because they're not gonna really push the potential of a game. They're going to be designing games, in my opinion. This is just from my view of the whole thing of what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to focus on the whole thing with the Neo for these games and make them look real great on the Neo. And then we're going to look at the PS4 versions and the regular PS4 and the regular Xbox One, and we'll be like, what? And it's basically going to force you over to buying, the not technically like them putting a gun to your head, but I'm just saying it's going to make you want, like the Neo and all that. It's like, here's this. This is what we should be playing it on, but too bad you already bought this. It's kind of like, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, this is for the people that want high end whatever. That's crap. That's a bunch, and you can't sit here for 1 second. If you're a new owner to the Xbox One like I am this past summer and a day one owner of the PS4, and the PS4 hasn't even been out that long, and they're already planning on making new consoles actually coming out, within the next year and a half or so, and we're not even going to see a full life cycle basically of these consoles. I don't think that's right if that does take place, if they don't hold these off 6 years or whatever,
You know what, Dave? And I've been saying this ever since I came to YouTube. I say it in podcasts. Some people are starting to get it. Last generation, I said, this DLC is kind of getting out of hand. I said, next generation come, we're going to be shit up shit creek with DLC watch. It's going to go haywire next generation. And I said this shit like 2 to almost 3 years before these consoles even came out. And now look what we have. We have every fucking game that comes out, what we have a season pass for. We got DLC for it. Oh, to get this hat and glove and a gun, you got to pre-order.
Dirty. You don't have to buy the season pass. No, I love when they say that to you. You don't.
I know. And that's what they used to say. Oh, well, you don't have to buy it. You know what I'm saying? You just be a wealthy. And it's not about being a wealthy. It's about being fucked over, because when you start dipping in that, they look at you as, yep, we got another asshole. They go another asshole. And now we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep shoving it in your face, because you know what? You assholes is going to buy it. So now you assholes are going to go out there and you're going to buy another PlayStation 4 that's powerful. And then in another 2 years, when we want to upgrade that one, you ain't going to have shit to say, because you're going to go right back out there and buy another PlayStation that's stronger than the Neo within another 2 years, if they want to do it that way. And that's how they running us, because these gamers in the community don't say shit when shit is going down on us, but they ready to scream and cry and bitch about missing 180 fucking pixels in a fucking game and shit like that. They don't say shit when they had DLC on the fucking disc, and then make you pay for it to unlock it instead of you just playing through the game and unlock it yourself.
Yep.
This is the shit I be talking about, and this is the shit that has been going on since last generation, and it's going to keep going, and they're going to keep fucking us in the ass, and half of you dumb idiots, y'all going to keep falling for it, y'all going to keep buying it, and it's going to keep rolling and rolling and rolling downhill to the people in the community just going to be like, you know what, this is some bullshit. This have to stop. But you know what? It's too late, because you keep buying it. You keep buying it. You keep selling into this.
It's going to ruin what's going to happen. This shit's going to get so out of hand. You know, with everything going on with what they're doing with DLC, remastered games, remastered consoles now. They're pretty much remastered consoles. They're just pushing the bar of how much they could get away with it. They're raising the bar. Oh, we'll just try this. We're just going to do this a little bit. Okay, they bought this multiplayer season pass, you know, with Call of Duty. They've done it with the Battlefield, with the premium. Let's try single player season passes, and they work their way in. Now let's drop a price and let's up the price. Let's do it for not just 30. Let's up it to 50 like a month down the road. You know, if you didn't buy the season pass now, it's going to go up in price. Like, look at all this shit they're doing. Now I bought the Fallout season pass, but I bought it for 30. I was not buying that shit for 50. Now my whole outlook on it, the whole season pass battle, that battle is lost. Season passes are here to stay. They're not going nowhere. DLC's not going nowhere. Microtransactions are not going nowhere. You had to fight that battle when it started. Back where, in my opinion, I guess it'd be around Call of Duty where they started a lot of that shit.
Dave,
Hold on 1 second. Now with these consoles, with them doing this is where you would fight the battle. The minute you go out there and buy these happily for $700, let's say, like people say I'm wrong with the whole $699.99. Let's say they're even $599.99. You know, you go out there, gladly buy these consoles, trade your console and get nothing for it because they're going to give you probably $100 if you're lucky, or $150. I don't think you're going to get $200 by the time these consoles drop. And they're going to put you on the fucking sucker list, and it's going to be locked in. They'll be like, oh, they did it there. 2 more years, or shit, a year later, we might make an upgraded Neo, you know? And then they're going to give you nothing for the Neo. The Neo is going to be fucking worthless. You're going to pay like close to $700 for that console and probably get, luckily, if you get fucking $200 for it, or $300, you know? And trade that in, add more money, get the other one, you know? And they're going to, and God knows what else they're going to do after all this. They're making money hand over fist with all this shit. But you know what? I'll have to sit here and say, yes, I buy the season pass and stuff, like I said, because they're here to stay. I don't agree with it. You know, I don't think it's right. But in my opinion, when a game drops, like the Division, I know the full games within the season pass. I'm just the type of person, I want the whole experience, you know. But I'm telling you, with these consoles, once you do it, and they see people go out in fucking herds and buy this shit, and nobody's standing up for this shit, they're gonna get away with it. They're basically selling you what you should have got. You know, they're giving that's the problem. They're putting something on the market which you should have got day one. That's the console we should have had. These consoles are premature. Somebody even said this at work, and I agree with them totally. These consoles we got are premature consoles. These are not the consoles that we should have had. The Neo and the Scorpio is. But they fucked up, the developers, but we're paying for the fuck up, and they're just making it look cool. They're like, look at this new console, but it's not cool. You're getting fucked over. You just bought something basically that isn't what you bought. It's not basically what it should have been. That thing that's coming is what we should have got. We're paying for their fuck ups. And I see some people speaking on this. Some people are in their right mind, but a lot of people I see talk about this are like, oh, it's okay. You don't gotta buy it. You know, like, you don't feel kind of fucking ripped off, like, a little bit, you know, like, you know, I can't see anybody happy about seeing a new console come out of the same console. It's going to play the same games, but play them better. Now, if we were talking about PCs and we were PC gamers and not console gamers, then I'd understand. Okay, you got a better PC than me, but we're talking fucking consoles, you know. This isn't the PC market, which it's turning into the PC market, you know. I mean, I'm with you, Dirty. I know shit's going to get a lot worse. You know, it's going to just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And, you know, it's going to get to the point where I would see, you know, them just asking for ridiculous amounts of prices just for a game. They're just going to sell the game at a high price. And then when they do that, they're saying, oh, buy the game included, and you get everything. You get the season pass and all of it for one lump sum. And then they're going to do that, and people are going to be like, they're going to switch people over to that, buying a game for like $80 to $100. And then they're just going to start upping the price on, they're going to say, oh, well, here's another DLC pack that don't come included. And that's this part of the game. Like, I could just see them somehow weaseling even more money, And like, people say you don't have to buy it, but it isn't right when you see all this shit. It isn't right. Would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree because what caught my eye, and I swear to God, I haven't heard anybody say anything about this, and I'm pretty sure nobody's going to say nothing about it now. But I'm gonna bring it up. Everybody's seen the Call of Duty yesterday at the conference. They're like, oh man, that's cool. I want it, but I also want it because Modern Warfare Remastered comes with it, right? Now, normally when we get remasters, what we usually get with remaster, we usually get everything.
Yeah, you get everything that game had DLC wise, the whole works.
Costumes, flowers, handkerchiefs, all that shit. You get all whole 9 yards. But it seemed like you only get 10 maps. You know what I'm saying? With Modern Warfare. So that means to tell me I gotta buy the season pass. I gotta pay $139 to get the season pass, to get this to get the multi player stages, new stages when they come out for the new game, but also for the old remaster game as well. Like, wait a minute, 10 maps? That's all I get? It was more than 10 maps. What about the people that brought those maps when the game first came out, brought all those maps? We got to rebuy them? We got to buy a $50 season pass to rebuy those again? Like, nobody be paying attention. Everybody is so hooked on graphics and teraflops that these motherfuckers don't even look and see that you're being gypped again. You're going to pay for those old-ass maps that's over 10 years old, maybe 15 years old. You about to rebuy them again. And you're going to do it. You know why? Because they got you. They know you're going to do it. They know you're going to do it. That's why they did it. Why would they remake a game and then not put all the maps in there?
Lazy. I'd say it's a little bit of lazy developers, and that they're just ripping your ass off, and they know they'll get away with it.
They know they're going to get away with it because they know they already know that majority of these gamers they just hungry for the next thing. They hungry for the next thing. They want it. They don't care if they're getting fucked over or not. It's like, well, fuck it, just fuck me over this time, but I want it. Next time I ain't gonna let you do it. Then the next time it come, I know I said I wasn't gonna let you do it again, but fuck it, it felt good the first time you did it, so fuck me over some more. And this is how it's gonna keep going and going. Like I tell people, I do not have a problem with DLC. I don't. When it's done where I have a game, like something like Witcher 3, when you add on, you know what I'm saying, and I'm getting multiple hours out of this DLC, I'm fine with it. The multi-maps for Call of Duty, I'm fine with it. But when you make me go back and rebuy old 15-year-old maps from a game from the 360 and the PS3, hell no, that should be in the game already. Talking about you only get 10 maps. That's why they put it on there. Because everybody thought they was going to have all those maps, First Strike and all that shit. No, you got to rebuy that shit. Ain't nobody going to say nothing about it. They just going to be like, oh, I got the new remastered, Call of Duty and I love it. And fuck it, I'll buy them again, even though I paid like $40 back in the day, like 15 years ago. But I pay $50 for these. I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. And you gamers, y'all.
That is true though. Like usually with a remaster, usually there is some out there. I don't think that you got everything, but usually you would get all the DLC, all the little hats and everything. Like Injustice, we had got everything. You got all the DLC characters, all the skins. Boom, you got it all for whatever they sold it when it first came out. Now this one, you just get in the 10 maps, right?
Get 10 maps. That's what it say. It say 10. Go look at the still shot of the.
Like what they're gonna do. They might make the DLC and they're gonna charge you for it again.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do, and nobody's gonna say anything about it. They're just gonna buy it. They're just gonna buy it.
They know they got you by the. They got it. They got them by the nuts. They know it. They know it, and they'll do it. See, the thing is, these gamers are going to gladly go out and buy probably both consoles. They're going to buy own these consoles, trade their current ones in, get ripped the fuck off, get nothing for them, gladly with a smile on their face. The ones that can afford it, go out there and buy the new console, lose money on their console, and pay more money, and buying the same thing again, and do it with a smile, just because they think that they're going to get so much more power and so much more this, and it's probably going to look nicer, but is it going to look? I want to see I got to see the difference, with them. I want to see what the difference is. Oh, and then on top of that, you got to buy 4K TV if you want the full potential. That's even more money.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, when Microsoft was talking about the Scorpion, they said 4K movie streaming and 4K gaming.
Yeah.
So that means that console is.
Did they say like true? Did they say true 4K or something?
They said, I think he said true 4K movies. He didn't say true 4K game. He just said 4K gaming. So that shit can be anywhere from 2K upscale to 4K. It can be 1K upscale to 4K. But you know what? These games still don't, because it's 4K.
I could have sworn he said true 4K or I don't know.
I'm gonna go back and listen. I want to say he said true 4K for the movies, but when he said gaming, because I was surprised he said 4K gaming, because a lot of people remember, 3 weeks ago when we had a podcast, most people were saying no, it's only for movies. They only going to do true 1080p and 60 frames per second, which would not dip, would not drop. So I'm like, oh, okay, because I'm like, that's going to be expensive if it's going to be 4K gaming as well. But the guy at Microsoft said, and 4K gaming. Now you mean to tell me this console about to come out for $400? Y'all niggas crazy.
I'm. The thing is, I'm telling you, I'm just, in my opinion, just how people with that whole like I said in my one video I made with the Neo video I made recently, you had people going up in arms over a fucking Battlefield season pass, okay, where we seen with the previous two fucking Battlefront with a season pass, people going nuts. With the two previous fucking EA first-person shooter games, Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline, did a premium, which is pretty much the same thing as the season pass. It was $50 for all the map packs and everything. People were up in arms over fucking Battlefront because they did that, and they didn't see that coming. Come on. So that was a big thing. But here they are making the consoles you should have probably had day one, and they're gladly going to trade in their consoles. They just bought most of them or bought day one, and gladly give them away and add probably a bunch more money, because you ain't getting shit for these consoles when you trade them in.
And I'm pretty sure they got a big smile on their face.
Doing it with a smile, and Microsoft and Sony, just Yoshida and Phil Spencer, is sticking that dick in it, just them just smiling. Here you go, take it, take my money, And then they're going to come. Remember at the beginning of the generation when they were sitting there telling us that there was going to be no more loading times? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? I remember. Shit. I'm playing fucking Fallout lately. The loading times are ridiculous. Rainbow Six, those loading times are ridiculous when you're waiting to get to match and all that shit. Just the loading times in general, and you're even playing the situations and terrorist hunt. I'm like, that day I was playing Rainbow Six with you, and I was playing with my brother too one day. I was like, damn, me and my brother were sitting there and go, whatever happened to the whole thing about no loading times, That
was all BS. That was a lot of, smoke screen to get you hype for these consoles so you can purchase it day one. You know what I'm saying? So you can purchase it day one. You know what I'm saying? And when I got my PlayStation, before I got my PlayStation 4, I was asking everybody in the community I came across, hey, you got PlayStation 4, right? Hey, can you turn that light off on the controller? What's that light for? No, you can't turn it off. Why not? I don't know. What is it for? I don't know. It just lets you know the control on. Bullshit. No, because you just don't have no gigantic light on no controller for no odd reason. Yeah, but when I finally got mine, I finally found out what it was for. When I brought the PlayStation camera, yeah, that's what it was for. So the PlayStation camera was going to be in the box, but they
Mhm.
took out the box to make it $100 cheaper. So every time I turn on my PlayStation, you know what I'm saying? It comes up, it looks for my face, and it looks for that controller. If I don't put that controller in that TV so it can see that light, it's not going to log me in.
Mhm.
So I'm like, this is what the light was for, and I only get maybe 2 hours of gameplay out of this thing.
Yeah, I just trying to hear if this thing. I want to hear if they say 4K gaming.
GPU out of it. The highest res, the best frame rate, no compromises. You get 4K gaming, true 4K resolution.
True. Okay, here it is. You get 4K gaming, true 4K resolution. That's what they said.
Okay.
I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see exactly what they said. But yeah, I agree with you with the whole camera thing. I know exactly what you're talking. I'm. It's not right. None of this shit. You know.
Now
I'm.
here's my gripe about this whole thing. Now she just said that it's going to be 60 frames per second. No if, ands, or but. Now, wait till a game come out where they can't get it at 60 frames per second.
Oh,
Where
they're like endless possibilities or some shit. Like they said a lot in that little segment they did. It's a monster. Like they're really talking this thing up. So if
dude, I'm telling you, the
that's
only
why
thing.
that's why I said. Do you remember in the beginning of this generation where they said with these consoles, no loading times? They were boosting the whole 1080p, 60 frames per second. So we're gonna see 4K gaming with these. And what's going to happen if we don't see that? You go, okay, could you imagine that? You go out buy a 4K TV, a real nice one, you know, lay about $1,000 out, 800. Yeah, I mean, you can get the ones at Walmart for $498. I've seen them, $598, but you want a good refresh rate. So you want to spend what, like 700, 800? Maybe go with the Sony for 1,000. You get that bitch home, you start gaming on with these games, and you're seeing like, you know, upscale whatever, or not the 4K like they're talking, you know, like we've seen this shit. You know, that's the crazy thing. But I will say it'll be better than these consoles. It will be the consoles that we should have got. And it's kind of a kick in the nuts. I'm sorry.
I really would. Well, what they were saying, I don't think it's going to be true 4K gaming. I believe it's going to be upscale because when you look at us coming from, let me see, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, what was it, and the Xbox 360, they kind of woo us on, the graphics, and it was in HD, right? So yeah, we was like, oh man, cool HD. So now we was like, oh man, we're gonna get true 720p and 1080p. But it wasn't about 60 frames or 30 frames. It was just about 1080p. So now these consoles that we have now, they was hyping up, oh, you're going to get true 1080p and 60 frames per second on every game. We're not getting that. Now with this console, oh, you're going to get true 4K gaming, 60 frames per second, no if, ands, or but. And watch when something happens. I want to see how many people are going to be griping and bitching that, hey, this is not true 4K. This is upscale, and the frame rate is dipping. It's not steady 60 frames per second. It's dipping to like 51. Because everybody got to put it on the machine. They can't tell by eye if it's dipping. It have to be on the machine for them to know. How you can look at a game and tell me that it just dipped 9 frames from 60, you are an amazing man or woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this is the way I look at the whole thing. You know, I'm a console gamer. I've always been a console gamer. I've never gamed on PC. This is pushing me more to PC than ever. But I have to say this: there's a big. I'm like I said, I'm a console gamer. If these systems take off, I couldn't see myself ever buying both of them. You know, I would go with one of them if I did go with them, and it'd most likely be Sony. I don't know if I would go with the Scorpio. I don't know. Microsoft with this generation, what they did, I have to give it to Sony. They were doing the right things this generation. But the more I hear about this, it's just pushing me to PC. But I won't know fully what I'll do, but I'm not going out. I'll tell you this much. I'm not going out and buying both these consoles. Or all three of them, too. Like with Nintendo, I don't even want to get on them. I'm not even getting on that subject with the Wii U. They pissed me off with that, you know, with the whole, this basically how they supported that console. But, you know, me being a console gamer at heart, you know, I will probably get one of them maybe, but I couldn't see myself rushing to the store day one and buying them like I do every generation. I would have to sit back a year and see what goes on, and then maybe do that, or just say fuck it and get a PC, and then just I'll lose some exclusives, you know. But maybe I'll be on something totally new that I never played before and just enjoy PC, you know, and just be done with consoles, because that's where it's pushing me. Like part of me saying, like, fuck this shit. And the other thing's just saying, you know, wait it out a year, see which one's good, go with one of them. But I'm not doing like, see, this is what I usually do every generation. I get all the consoles. Last generation, I had every console but the Wii. The generation before that, I had all of the big three. And it just always been like that, you know. I had the NES, then I had the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. The next generation, I had the N64, the PlayStation, and I'm tired. You have to excuse me, but the N64, the PlayStation, and what was the other one of that generation?
We had the the
What did
PlayStation.
Sega have?
Yeah, we had the Sega Saturn.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I've always had them. You know, I've always went out and supported all the consoles, but I'm not. Well, other than Sega, Sega was the only one I had was the Genesis and the Dreamcast and the Game Gear. But usually the main consoles, like with Microsoft, it's always been I had the original Xbox, the Xbox 360, and the Xbox One. I've always got all them. Nintendo, I've always got all them, but the Wii, I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing with these remastered consoles. You know, I'm not doing both of them. It's going to be one of them. That's how it's going to go. Because I couldn't see. And another thing you got to worry about, they drop these consoles and then PlayStation 5 comes out. Or Xbox, whatever, 2. You know, how long will that be after them consoles? You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I want to see what goes on with this before. It's like one thing I know. If it is true that there isn't going to be games just made for the Scorpio and games just made for the Neo, and these games run on both consoles, I know we're going to have the shittier version, but I'll just deal with it. I'll deal with it. You know, I might not buy nothing. I might just keep what I got, wait till next generation completely. But if people go out and buy these consoles, they might just do upgraded consoles and never do a PlayStation 5. They might just be doing, PlayStation, Morpheus. You know, just keep doing the same console, just upgrading it and upgrading it, and never do an actual 5 or an actual Xbox 2. Just keep doing an upgraded model of this generation. You know, they might do that. Who knows? But I'll wait till the next gen, you know, the actual official, if they do that. I mean, I can't see going out and giving them my money again unless one of these consoles breaks or something. That's when I would do something like that. But no, I'm not buying it when my shit perfectly works fine, and the generation's not even that fucking old. And you know what I'm saying?
I just got a feeling that this will turn into a habit, just like everything else. Everything else that they throw at us, it turns into a habit, and then it just gets out of control.
Yep. Yep. And I know we sat here and bitched about this, but somebody's got to bitch about this. I don't hear enough bitching about this this crumb side. I just hear this is my opinion. I respect everybody's opinion, but I just don't see people on this side of the argument. I just see people on the argument of it's all right. They're just accepting it. But then I look at other things, like I said, the Battlefront season pass, and that's accepted. But then this is no, that's not accepted, but this is accepted. It's not. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not right. Somebody's got to speak on it. I know there's a few that is speaking out on this, but not many, and that's why I want to sit here and just give my side of things, dirty side of things. Cause I'm not going to sit here and cheer this on when I don't feel, on my opinion that this is right. I mean, I think console gamers are getting screwed over this generation all around the board, but this is the biggest fuck you of them all. But going, any more you have to say on this, Dirty, before we finish it up with our Sony, like what I'm going to give the score for, who won E3? Because you can count Nintendo if you want, but I don't even think Nintendo was in the top. I can't say Nintendo was in the who won E3 or anything, because Nintendo just basically did.
I'll touch on what I've seen from Nintendo, but I mean, I'm not going to put them in the category of they won E3. No,
I mean, like I said, Zelda looked great. I can't say Zelda looked bad. It looks like a game I'd love to play, but I would never go out and buy another Wii U. Never. Even to play a game like that, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Not me. In my situation with me getting rid of the Wii U. Dirty has a Wii U. I mean, I know he'll buy Zelda, but I mean, say the NX came out and that somehow was a great system after a year of it being out, then I'll go play Zelda. I might pick the NX up. But the one thing I will give Nintendo, which I'm still pissed at them what they did with the Wii U, that's a completely new console. It's not a remaster of the Wii U, But I don't know. But overall, the conferences. So with the whole Neo and Scorpio, we're done with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now with the final, verdict of, just all the threes, who would you say? What would you score? Let's do this. Well, in your opinion, give Sony a score. You say the score is Sony first, and who you think won E3, and talk about Nintendo if you want.
I would give for Sony, I would give Sony. I would give Sony a B minus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I guess Sony.
What did you give Nintendo?
Well, I wouldn't really give Nintendo anything because, like I said, they only had, like they focused on. But I would just like to give my thoughts about the game or what I think about the game.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that for what I've seen for the Zelda for the Wii U, it's actually called the Breath of Wind, and weird name, but I really like what I see with Link.
Does Link have a voice? I didn't see that.
No, he still got his normal grunts and stuff like that, but there was voice acting at the beginning, and the girl or whatever it is, I think it's that little twinkle thing that be with him, that little fairy or whatever. I think she had a voice. She was speaking at the beginning. She was telling Link to wake up, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So it does have voice acting in it. But Link won't have a voice. Everybody else will, that he may talk to, but he won't. You know what I'm saying? So, because basically, when you play a Zelda game, Link never talked anyway. It was just them talking to you, and you just had to read the text. And if he did say anything, it'd be like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? And he going about his business. You go do the mission. So Link don't really have a voice. I mean, his voice would be in your head if you played Zelda for all these years. You would kind of have a voice fitted for him in your mind already. But what I like what they did with him, man, was just, like he's like very independent. You know what I'm saying? Like he can climb mountains now. You know what I'm saying? He has a jump button now. Um, he can pick up different weapons and to fight the enemies. There's no more rupees. When you cut the blades of grass, you won't find rupees or you won't find hearts or anything like that. They took all that out. In order to get replenish your health, you will have to eat. So if you find apples on a tree or if you find some type of animal roaming around and you kill it with your bow, or if you stumble up on an enemy's camp and they're actually cooking, you can kill them and take their food to replenish, your health. It has real dynamic weather effect. So if Link is in a cold environment, he will shiver, and you will have to change him to put him on, just like in Tomb Raider, how Laura Croft would shiver if she didn't have the right clothes on up in the mountains and all that snow. This is basically what Link would do. Um, there's no more shops. I heard that he have to craft everything, just like Laura Croft. He have to craft everything. So you're not going to go to the store and buy a bow, a slingshot, or none of that. You have to craft and find the material yourself. Even when you are cooking, when you find meat, you can eat it, and it'll probably give you, a couple of, maybe a heart and a half. But if you cook it with like ingredients, that you find like mushrooms and berries and stuff like that, it could probably, replenish all your hearts. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I mean, just what they did with him, man, is just like awesome. And they were showing that you can set the grass, bushes, and stuff on fire, and it actually burns. You know what I'm saying? Just like in Far Cry, you know how Far Cry you can burn trees and something else may catch on fire. That's how this was as well. And I was like, man, I'm like, they really going into heart with this Zelda game, with Link. They actually showed where he was actually, just walking around exploring, and he couldn't get past this open gap, but it was a tree there. So he took out an axe. Link took out an axe and chopped down the tree to make it fall, so he can actually walk across the log to get to the other side. And then the environment that they showed when he was like on top of the mountains, like you could actually see so freaking far. You know what I'm saying? And um, to go to like dungeons and stuff like that, they were saying that it was more than one way to get there. So if you were set off on a path, you can go that path, or you can stray off that path, but still get to that dungeon by just taking a whole nother route. They said it was like multiple ways to get to a mission that you're going to, because it's an open world, and it looked like a beautiful painting. That's what it looked like. It looked like a painting that's moving. You know what I'm saying, in real time, and I like that art style. That art style is beautiful, and they doing a lot of stuff with Link. But like I said, I haven't watched um a lot of it. I only watched a little bit of the Treehouse, but I want to go back to Nintendo's on YouTube and watch some more, because I might miss some more stuff that Link can do now. But just that little bit that they showed, like he can move boulders now, like big boulder rocks. They showed him there was enemies down at the bottom. Instead of him jumping down there, climbing down to fight them, what he did was he pushed the boulder, and the boulder went down, came down the hill, came smash it, and killed both of the enemies. I'm like, this Link never did that. So it was cool to see him do so many new abilities and new things. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, wow, I can't wait to play this game. So I will be going back just in case if I miss anything else that, new abilities that he have or whatever. But yeah, so far, man, I can't wait for this game to come out. This will probably be better than Ocarina of Time. You there, Dave? Well, I guess that's Dave took a break, y'all. Well, he didn't take a break. I know he said someone was going to be stopping by to drop off something. So, but yeah, since until he get back, man, I keep talking about the Zelda. Like I said, the Zelda looks wonderful. I love the way it looks. I love the art style. Um, I just want to see what else um, that the game has to offer. The enemies. I didn't see a lot of enemies. So hopefully when the full game come out, there'll be more enemies because I know it's a big open world. You're not just gonna keep running into enemies. There's
Can
gonna
you
be.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Well, my sound cut out on the computer for some reason. I don't know why. No, I didn't leave. That person never came by, but I appreciate you doing that. Is the sound all right, everybody in the chat? I got to do it this way or I'll lose the podcast. But yeah, I appreciate all the Zelda info. I seen the video that you sent me. I haven't seen fully everything on the new Zelda, but it does look cool. The one video you sent me. But
Yeah, that's said. I actually want to go back and finish a little bit more of the treehouse, just in case if it's some more information I missed or new abilities they added to Link or whatever like that. So
um, does it sound all right, everybody in the chat? Or
you sound kind of low than normal, but I can hear you.
okay, yeah, this is the best way I can do it without having to end the podcast and it messing up or anything like that. Okay, it does sound okay. Um, I'll add one stop in just a second. I just want to get this out. So, the whole thing with PlayStation, you graded PlayStation a B, you said, or
Well, I give it a B minus.
okay, a B minus. What did you give Microsoft? Um, who would you
Um,
say? Just say it. Who would you say won E3?
I would say both of them did a good job, but I would have to go towards Microsoft. And the only reason why I went towards Microsoft, like I said, they both did a really good job this year, and it was kind of hard for me. But what really stood out for me to say, to give it to Microsoft is because one, they did talk about the Scorpion, which I had no idea they was going to talk about. Two, they came out and they showed us the Xbox One Slim, the S. You do have three different ones, and the other one was where you can customize your own controller of what color you want. You engrave your name on the controller, which I thought was pretty cool. And they also did a price drop for the original Xbox One, which is now I think $279 now. So with them throwing that into the mix, you know what I'm saying? It's to me, it's they're trying to show their fans and they're trying to show other people that's kind of griped about or still been arms about Microsoft, from way back when, that they're trying their best. They're giving you their best. You know what I'm saying? So that right there showed me. I'm like, you know what, man? They own it. They've been doing it all this year, giving us backwards compatible and all this different type of stuff. And now we're about to get a summer update. You know what I'm saying? It might not be the biggest update, but it is something. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I kind of gave a little bit more edge to Microsoft because they came out and announced those things right there. Where Sony did not add a price drop, did not say nothing about a Slim if they was working on one, didn't say nothing about the Neo, which I knew they wasn't going to say nothing about, but I was surprised that Microsoft did with the Scorpion. But no type of customized controller, no nothing, no price drop, nothing for the fans, the 40 plus million fans or newcomers to the PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
They did do a good ass job by showing games, which I like. But like I said, the little thing that Microsoft did that they've been doing for over a year now, I have to give it to Microsoft.
Okay. this is what I'm gonna do. All right, I gave Microsoft a 9. All right, on there they did a great E3. It was, I'd have to say it was one of their best E3s in a while, especially better than last year. Um, but Sony brought the games, and like I said earlier, gameplay is what matters. I thought that's what mattered to the. I'm not taking anything from your opinion. I'm just saying in general, everybody always talks about this gameplay, and I see from start to finish with Sony's show, I was glued. Like they showed me surprises, games I didn't know nothing about. Microsoft, they addressed a big issue. Like I wanted Sony to address the Neo and tell us what was going on with it. But Sony surprised me, and that's the magic of E3 surprises. I knew everything Microsoft had, but it was still a great show. They put together one of their best shows. But if I had to grade Sony, I would give them a 9.5. They just beat it by a little bit, just a little bit, because they showed games I didn't even expect that were coming. But that's just my opinion. I think it was a great E3 for both Sony and Microsoft. They both did a great job, but the whole thing with Microsoft, if I can look at it this way, if you were looking for hardware, like a new Elite controller, a new Slim, it has a Blu-ray player and all, or a 4K Blu-ray player and all that stuff, that's fine. And I don't even have a problem with Microsoft doing that. How they did the whole, added a 4K Blu-ray player, but when it fucks with my games and it changes the gameplay, and it from what I got with the Xbox One, and they're doing something better that for more money and this and that, that's where I have a problem. I would have a problem with Sony doing a 4K Blu-ray player of a different model of their PlayStation. That's not the issue. It's when the gameplay changes and there's a better machine that performs and plays the same games. That's a straight fuck you. That's what I feel from, these consoles when they're doing this now. Sony did talk that they did say the Neo is out there, so they confirmed that. Not like Microsoft did coming out at E3, but just when it comes down to what E3 is about, when it comes to games, Sony delivered hands down. And Microsoft showed some great games that I knew about, but that they actually showed me gameplay for Sea of Thieves that I'm buying day one. I liked Recore. I don't know if that's going to be a day one buy. Gears of War looks like, they looks pretty damn good. At first, I was a little iffy about it with the graphics. Still was going to buy it, but it looks great. And I liked, the stuff they showed off in general, like the Elite controller, the Gears of War, special edition. Just they had a great show too. I can't take that away from them. I liked Dead Rising 4. I liked what's that other zombie game that I got the remaster of? What's the other zombie game that's a survival zombie game?
State of Emergency.
State of
State of Decay.
State of Emergency, State of Decay. That looked awesome. No, they did a great show. I can't take away from Microsoft. But I just want to tell people, that was my score. Now let me see if one stops. So I didn't want to go too long. Tonight I was just going for a little bit. That's why me and Dirty were talking. I know people have been asking me to do a Sony review like Kazooie and a few others. So that's why I did this. But when the podcast starts to fuck up, that's why I wanted to get that out there before the podcast shuts down or something, before it messes up. I don't want that happening. Because sometimes you have technical difficulties. I lately have been having weird things going with my podcast where the sound it happened not too long ago like this, the sound cut out. But this time it's from me pulling the cord by accident. And I can't get the sound to come back for some reason with the microphone. I don't know why. But yeah, Sony's show was great. Microsoft's show was great, but I think Sony won E3. I can't put Nintendo I think Dirty's on the same page. Nintendo just they showed stuff. I saw a little bit of Zelda, but that's not enough. Like they didn't bring enough stuff. I know they brought a little bit more than that, but it's still I don't count them as the same thing as what Sony and Microsoft did. Now the other ones like EA and Ubisoft, that's a whole other story. I'm just talking who won between Sony and Microsoft. The big shows. How's it going, One Stop?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's up, Dave? How you doing, brother?
I was just doing a video for the Sony conference and just general, like, just who won E3 and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay,
And
that's
we
cool.
talked about the Neo and the whole Scorpio reveal.
Yeah, man, I pissed off a lot of Xbox fans with my half-ass review. I want to before I get into that, I want to say, Dave, I appreciate you having me back on. But
Oh,
people, that review, that wasn't a review that I did. The review I actually have is a 30-minute fucking video, and it's taking forever to fucking render. You know what I'm saying? I got my Sony review, which is a little. I think it's like 32 minutes long, and I actually edited it and I try to make it a little more professional. That what I threw out there was just almost like a pre-review, and I was already about sleepy and pissed off. And please, just wait for the reviews to come out before you start judging me.
yeah. People don't understand that people have to work and live, and have
Exactly.
other
Bro, I
things to
just
do.
got Dave, to be honest with you, I just got back. No bullshit. I just got back from South Carolina like maybe 10 minutes ago. We looking at a second home and and we got it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy about
Oh,
that.
congratulations.
Thank you, brother. It's a big house. You know, I just had a son, so we went looking for a bigger home and we got it, So I'm pretty excited about that, man. So
Yeah, congratulations. But like I said, like people don't understand. Like, I know, like I'm not talking about anybody in particular or anything like that, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, do this review," and I know people want to see that, but when you have stuff going on in real life, you just can't. Even though E3 is here and it's one of the biggest times in gaming, and we have gaming channels, I just can't do what I normally do if I have certain things going on.
yeah, we just can't drop at a dime at a dime, what I'm saying, just do it.
Yeah,
We have to
I
take it up.
basically did this for Kazooie. He was asking me, and he's a great subscriber. I appreciate him watching my live streams. I was gonna wait till Friday to do it, but he's like, "Oh, I want to see your Sony one." This is basically for him and two others. Uh,
that's
you know,
that's cool though. That's dedication as well,
yeah.
man.
Anybody that supports me like that, like Balfour and Kazooie and everybody, like Ryu and all the people that watch my streams, like I know who supports me. So when somebody asks something like of that level, like that watches all my shit, I'll do what I can for them because they support me like that.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But people gotta realize, people gotta I don't make a living from YouTube.
Hell no, I can't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm one of those guys that say that if I can make enough money off YouTube to support myself and my family, I will retire and do YouTube for a time. But I just don't have that luxury because, of course, I don't have a fan base to do that. We cannot live off YouTube, not right now. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It just can't happen.
Yeah, see, I just, I would love, I mean, it would be great to live off YouTube. I wish I could.
Hell yeah, shit. I mean, anybody, and some people try to downplay it, but YouTube is just like a job. It's a different type of job, but it's still, nevertheless, a job. We have to edit videos. We have to put the videos out there, record the videos. I mean, come on, people. We do podcasts. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, well, what I was telling Dirty the other day, when you get in these podcasts and we sit here and talk about gaming for 3 to 4 hours, and I've been in podcasts sometimes for 6 hours or so,
yeah.
and it takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, Dave. You know what? I want to say something too. I want because I was looking and I can't find it. If anybody know where I can find a view bot when I'm live streaming, let me know so I can start doing it. Because apparently you can bot while you're live in a Google Hangout. Yeah, I heard
well,
I heard I heard about a centuries whatever say he got butt hurt
Well,
because
when you start pretending your little act, then you address it to him, but not with me.
oh
to
So,
God.
so
to
stop playing
who
your little
Thanos,
game.
hold
Stop playing
on.
your little game.
to
Thanos,
who
hold on now.
where hold
Thanos, I
on
thought you wanted to come in here to talk about what we were gaming. I didn't know there was gonna be a fight, so I just want to say that I didn't.
wait who that is
No,
who wait who is talking
I'm not holding. No, but I'm not attack. No, I'm not saying it like that. I didn't know what was going on, so I don't want to say like I was a part of it. I don't want to be a part of this if it's gonna go bad. I
No,
didn't know.
I didn't even know Thanos had jumped in the call, but welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, welcome, Thanos.
Shit. Well, he say, wait, because I wasn't talking to him, so apparently he wanted to seem like I am. I'm talking directly to the person that accused me of viewbotting. So I googled it. I was looking for it. I couldn't find one. So I was trying to figure out what was going on, and to be exact, I recorded it live. I got a video. I'll put it out
Well,
now.
we're here
Again,
talking,
I
we're
appreciate
talking about games.
I appreciate everybody that subbed to my channel. I appreciate everybody that turned out to watch the live stream. You know, because it wasn't about me. It was about them watching it. You know what I'm saying? If people want to hate on me because it was successful, that's something they have to deal with themselves. That was successful for me. I'm not mad. Why would I get upset when I was successful? That don't make sense.
So we're talking about games, and you're turning this podcast into you. You know, it's like this everywhere you go. Everywhere you go is like that.
It's the thing. The crazy part about it is when you're talking to somebody else, he has to interject himself within the conversation because he's irrelevant. So he has to make himself relevant.
I'm in the panel.
I'm talking, but I didn't even know you joined, and you started talking to me when I.
So I don't know how you go from conversations to view botting.
That's just something you have to deal with. Don't worry about it. That you deal with that. I can talk about what I want to talk about, just like you can talk about what you want to talk about. But whatever I'm talking about, and you don't like it, you have to deal with that. I don't. I just threw it out there. I'm looking for the bots. I can't find it.
You threw it out there because you're the one dealing with it.
I'm not dealing with anything.
It hurt you enough to mention it.
What?
This is supposed to be about games.
No. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah, really.
You're the same dude, right? The same guy that I exposing. Why is you in here?
Can we talk something other than about One Stop for once and somebody else's podcast?
What you mean?
It's about you want to try that one?
But you just made the whole situation about yourself. Did you not realize that? Only an idiot can't see that. If
this
you
is about One Stop. All right, this is a One Stop.
If you would have came in here, if you would have came in here, do the regular like you normally do. Did not interject yourself in a situation that's between me and somebody else and try to turn it everything up and make it about you, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Go ahead.
First of all,
I come in, you talk about view botting.
All right, but what y'all
you play dumb and you expect the audience to be just as dumb.
Oh man, whatever. I can say the same thing about the podcast you was just in when y'all talked about that. Y'all supposed to be talking about gaming, but y'all turned around and start talking about me. Explain that.
That you deal with that. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about.
That's what I thought.
You deal with that. That sounds familiar, huh?
That's my point.
It sounds familiar, huh?
It sounds very familiar.
Every time you get angry, you lose your pacifier. You start crying. This is supposed to be about gaming, and you're turning it into a one-stop. That's what you're doing, son.
I'm over 7,000 subscribers. I appreciate that.
Now look. I'm about bragging now, right?
And you know what I'm saying? Hey, and we actually had 6,000 live viewers.
7,000 subscribers without one person respecting you.
6,000 lives. Can I give some respect to the people that showed me some love?
Can we get back to the Scorpio?
Are you upset? It's about that. It's about that.
War.
It's about that. It's about that. The people that came. Hold on. The people that came.
Can we get back to games?
Oh my God.
Or you want to talk about your 7,000 subscribers?
Oh, that shit hurt, don't it? It hurt you, don't it?
Come on.
Because y'all said I was gonna see 10,000. I'm getting real close to it, ain't it? But anyway, enough about me. Everybody that showed up was gamers. That's why I'm showing homage to the gamers that showed up. It's not like I was live streaming. I bought a brand new fucking car. I was live streaming the E3. Those are gamers. So when I give a shout out to them, it's not talking about me, dumbass. But anyway, I appreciate all the love that y'all gave me, man. I got a lot of things I will be giving back to a lot of these individuals that came out here today. I want to give a special shout out to Hardy Towns. I think his birthday just passed. I just found that out. But like y'all know, I've been very busy taking care of a lot of things. But I want to get into the topic at hand.
Yeah,
Microsoft versus
I just want to say this.
Microsoft versus Sony.
I don't know exactly what's going. I just want to say I don't know what's going on.
It's okay, man. Dave, the thing was I was just doing what they was doing. I wasn't taking it personal. I was just popping a little shot because they popped a little shot at me. But the problem is when somebody pops shots at me and I do the exact same thing back, they act like this guy. Oh my God, really? Oh, you must be salty. Man, I'm not salty. I'm doing the same shit. I'm just popping a little shot.
It ain't nothing personal. I listened to what I said. I was like, yo, I even asked for the buy. Now you tell me that ain't popping a little shot. Do that sound salty? No. But he tried to blow it up and make it more than what it is. It's like, dude, people are tired of you doing that. Everybody see that what you're doing. Nobody cares no more.
I'm your only problem. You have to realize.
Oh my God, he my only problem. Oh my God, man, oh my God, man. Just make sure your heart keep beating, man. You worry about your heart, man. Don't worry about me.
Again, this is all
about your heart, man. Worry about your heart, man.
Why are you turning this into you? Why you always want the attention wherever you go?
If it was about me, why are you talking?
Everywhere you go, it's always about you and your 7,000. You
damn right, because I'm the shit and you're not.
Thank you for admitting it.
I'm the shit. Damn right.
There you go.
So you telling me I should be like, I should have high self-esteem? What the fuck is wrong with this idiot? I'm proud of what I achieved. What's wrong with you? I can't be proud of what I achieved.
Yeah, you could be. Yeah, you could be proud. Yeah, be proud. Be proud. You know,
you can tell your
man cave.
Yeah, damn right, man. Everything I bought, everything I own. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Come on, jealousy.
Yeah, I'm jealous of a black guy in a man cave who can't read. Get the fuck out of here.
What you mean about a black guy?
A black motherfucker who's in the room and he can't read. Now what, son? What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it?
All right, have fun.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If we continue this,
you always talking about all Hispanics are fucking wetbacks. Remember that shit?
I'm a wetback too, dummy. And I
remember that shit, son?
And I want to. So what's your point?
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
What's your point?
Get out of here. You're constantly lying. Everything.
I want to. What's your point, dummy?
You're nothing.
And you're embarrassing me. It's embarrassing, huh?
You're drama for the mirage, man.
But you can't. I'm drama, but you came in and started drama.
Yes. You're drama. Look,
you came in and started drama.
Where's your 15 people of team, son? They're all gone. You lost
15. What are you talking about?
15 people. Less than a year.
How?
15 people from the dream team.
How many of them do you know personally? You met in real life. How many of them you met in real life?
They're gone.
How many you met in real life?
They're
None.
Gone.
You're talking about people you don't even know.
They're gone.
Neither do I. I never met any of them. So what?
They're
gone. Just like they're gone, they could be replaced. Simple.
I told you, keep the name. I'll keep the success. Man, remember when I told you that?
Bro, I'm happy.
Remember when I told you that?
You want why you trying to steal my joy? But why are you trying to steal my joy?
Are we gonna get back to the gaming, or you want to make this about you?
If we continue on this path, we will be at 10,000 before the year out. Thank y'all so much. That's all I wanted to do before the hater, as y'all can see, interrupted me. But let's get back to gaming, man. Come on. That's
all right. Well, what do you guys think of what going back to what was going on with Sony and Microsoft, like with E3? Who do you guys think won?
Sony won.
Okay.
Sony won.
Now, would you say it's because of the gameplay, or because there's some people saying Microsoft won because of hardware, and I always thought it was about the gameplay, right?
Man, I'm gonna say this, Dave. Microsoft can come out with an Xbox One times 50. That motherfucker got 8 Titans in it. What's the point of having stronger hardware when you ain't got no fucking games to play on it? I made that quite clear. Software, it matters the most. Now, the community made it about 1080p, 60 frames, whatever. That's just this community. That's not 40 million people. You understand me? So what I'm trying to figure out with Microsoft, why would you announce a Slim and then the very next year announce a Scorpio? Well, let's be real. The Scorpio is not even the actual name of the console, but you announced that you're coming out with 2 more systems a year apart.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think
that don't make no sense. And a lot of people keep saying, "Oh yeah, this is for this set group of people. This is for that set group of people." But remember when the Neo was first mentioned, nobody said that the Neo was for this set group of people. You notice that? When Sony, because Sony announced it first, you didn't hear nobody saying, "Oh, that's for a top tier guys or more expensive." No. That wasn't. But when Microsoft does it, we try to find excuses to like legitimize why they're doing this fuck shit. You don't bring out you got what 20 million people on the Xbox One right now, right?
Yeah.
You got a Slim coming out, which is going to flop anyway because your fan base ain't big enough. Because the thing is, Microsoft needs to appeal to a broader audience. Right now, Microsoft is only appealing to its core audience. If a person think that the Slim is going to outsell the Xbox One, you're stupid. If a person think that the Scorpio is going to outsell the Xbox One, you're fucking stupid. Now, one of those consoles is going to do that well because the majority of hardcore Xbox fans already went out and bought the Xbox One. Only a handful of us is going to either go to the Slim or just straight out upgrade. But those upgrade sales are going to come from the people that already own the Xbox One. Where the new fan base is going to come from? They didn't show no games that appease to a variety of gamers. They came out and showed us the same shit. Dude, we just got an Ultimate Gears, an Ultimate Edition. The very next year, what do they give us? Another Gears. We just played Forza last year. What do they give us? Another Forza. We got Halo 5, and now we got Halo Wars. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Let me tell you, these fake-ass wannabe smart gamers, because they always say I'm dumb, smart gamers, all they do is try to manipulate the situation, man. What Microsoft did was dog shit, straight up.
Hold on.
Straight up.
Hold on, now, Thanos, you tell us your thoughts of the whole thing.
Like, haven't you made 181 videos saying the exact same thing?
Who, me?
No, one stop. No, you don't want to speak to the professor.
I think, but one stop said about the Xbox, Microsoft. I do agree to a certain extent when he said that Microsoft can put 9 Titans in there, it's still not going to sell, and that's what I truly believe. This Scorpion can be the strongest console on the market. Can be stronger than Neo, but guess what? People are still going to run to Sony, just because that Scorpion is powerful. They're not going to get PlayStation 4 fans to run over to the Xbox. It is what it is. It's just Microsoft is not going to be in the lead this generation. They're not. I don't care what they do. I don't care how strong, how powerful the console is. They're not going to do it. But he did make a point. It has to be the software. It has to be the games.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, the thing, I'm not trying to be a fanboy sitting here or anything. The thing with Sony, they showed like games I didn't even know were coming, like Days Gone, the Spider-Man's exclusive, like I'm just saying stuff in general that I had no clue was even going to be shown. Microsoft, I like Microsoft, but I knew Horizon 3 was coming. Like we all knew.
Now, let me clarify something. When I say dog shit, I'm only talking about the way I personally feel. I'm not saying the show itself. It was horrible. They didn't fuck up. The show was good. They had a good show.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at the software as a fan, and I'm and like he said, did you make so many videos about it? Yes, and the truth is I'm getting tired of having to repeat myself over and over again because they're not listening. You have to bring the software. You have to give us a variety. You have to appease to a different audience. And all they showed us was a lot of shooters, a lot of multiplats, and that Dead Rising 4, I heard it. A lot of people need to understand something. I went back and watched both E3s twice. And like I said, my videos will be up. I did it professionally. And I really paid attention because I know when I watched it the first time, my hype was too high. My expectations was too high. So when I watched it again with no expectations, no hype behind it. So I want to do a real review on both conference in an unbiased fashion. So I went back and watched them. I'm talking about, dude, I sat there and watched both of them, and not skipping through it, just watched them, right? Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I noticed when they showed Dead Rising 4. If y'all don't believe me, go back to the conference. That was the only post-to-been exclusive that did not have the exclusive title at the bottom. It did say coming to Xbox and PC, but it did not say exclusively. All the rest of the games was exclusive to PC and Xbox. Why are people saying, oh yeah, Dead Rising 4 is exclusive? I'm trying to figure out why I didn't say it. You have to pay close attention to what's being said, and you have to pay close attention to, especially what's being said about the head, Phil Spencer. You have to pay real close attention to what's going on, man. What's being shown to you.
Yeah. What were you saying, Dirty? You said something, or I don't know. Oh, oops.
It's like what part of Microsoft like these guys didn't get, or the whole Sony and the whole conference?
What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Because it's over silly shit. You know what I mean? It's like Sony, they showed they a lot of gameplay, right? You have some critics saying, "Oh, Sony showed a lot of gameplay, therefore they won." So Microsoft showed a lot of gameplay too.
Well,
you know, it's just.
In my opinion, why Sony won, in my opinion, I'm just saying this is all my opinion. I know I'm saying Microsoft did an excellent E3. It beat a lot of E3s that they have done in the past. You know,
I agree. I believe that they did. It was the best E3 that Microsoft had.
This was amazing for Microsoft, but I'm just saying with Sony, it's like they surprised me, and that's what I look for in E3. And they showed a lot of gameplay. It wasn't like CGI trailers. But I have to say, Microsoft, I gave them both a good score, a 9 for Microsoft. I just have to say Sony was a little bit better because they surprised me. And it was gameplay. But I'm not saying, it's all my opinion. If somebody told me, hey, Microsoft won, and that's in their opinion, I would respect that because Microsoft had a phenomenal show. I'm not saying they had a bad show at all. Just, I have to say the games that Sony showed, I just thought that was more appealing,
Right. You see, that's the thing. Those games you find appealing.
Yeah.
Now, so it's a question: does the word "better" really exist? Then, I mean, you can't make something your favorite color if it's not your favorite color.
Well, better in my opinion.
Right.
All right.
So it's like to me, I think I won. We all won. All of it. I mean, I'm going to experience all that shit. You know what I mean? Either way, no matter how you look at it, now it becomes the nitty gritty. I think people end up making shit more complicated than it really ought to be. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. We already asked them to stop with the Forza shit because they copy and paste them every year. We got another one, so we don't supposed to get mad about that. They supposed to listen to the fans, and I understand that we all won. Yeah. I didn't, because I don't want another Forza, but we got another Forza. I don't want another Halo, we got another Halo. You can argue that it's a different type of Halo, but nevertheless, it's still a Halo. We got another Dead Rising. Dead Rising look okay, but we got another Dead Rising. Like I got in my review, I announced all the games I'm gonna get day one from the Microsoft brand, but I still have to point out the truth. And that's what the problem is. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying right now. We didn't just get a Halo last year, and they gave us another one this year. Yes, that's facts. I'm telling the truth. Don't argue when somebody's speaking the truth, because I'm not going to argue your opinions. I'm only going to give you factuals. I think that Sony won because Sony didn't do what Microsoft did, that give us copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. As gamers, we want new. We want to see something different. We always ask for new IPs. Do we not? I'm not saying Microsoft didn't show new IPs, because they did. But all the gameplay that everybody is bragging about, we already saw it I'm talking about just a year ago. Who didn't see scalebound gameplay last year? Who didn't?
Because
I did.
It's a lot easier to judge something on face value. It's like this. Both sides can make really good arguments. You can people will say, like you said, Microsoft showed a lot of copy and paste. Someone else can say, well, at least their games are coming out this year, the majority. Some people can say, well, PlayStation showed a lot of more interesting new IPs and all that shit. The other person can say, well, yeah, a lot of their games are coming out. We don't know when.
Yeah, well, that is true.
What about Call of Duty? Hold on. I'm going to stay on this. What about Call of Duty, right? We can argue the same thing about Call of Duty. Call of Duty, we know Call of Duty is copy and paste. There is no denying that. I'm quite sure we all agree on that. What if somebody come to you and say, yeah, but at least we know the release date? Like that really, like you're going to be like, you know what? You're right. At least we got a release date, so that changes everything. No, we don't give a fuck about no release. It's a copy and paste. That's what matters, not a release date of it. It's the same game. That's my point. That's all I'm saying. It's just the way I see it.
Yeah, some people are they want those games, some people don't. I mean, it goes either or. What I'm trying to understand or get the feel of, it's not the hardcore or the 20 or 30%. It's the majority. You know, so like by default, Sony already have what I call the super delegates. You know what I mean? They're fucking 40 million strong. And Rambo Corner, a great guy, Rambo,
Yeah, he
he was
is.
he was looking this morning into what are the media saying, and from what his understanding is, it seems like the media, you know, journalists, IGN, games, all those fucking websites and all that, they're leaning more towards Sony. And then the other side is saying, well, Microsoft, you know, won it. But the thing with Microsoft that I found attractive was not only that they were able to show their game, and like Real Gamer 27, shout out to him because he said, you know, they use phases. You know, they were able to show their games. After the games, they were able to show what they're doing internally as far as that competitive app is going to be huge, and it is huge in the Xbox competitive gaming league portion.
Yeah.
That app is really cool. Can you guys imagine using that app if that was like on PlayStation with Uncharted? Like create a fucking league because I seen you guys and you guys try to get together and compete. You know what I mean? When the match is over, that's it. It's over. There's nothing there to
Yeah.
show or anything. You know.
Well,
So
that will be a great feature in this community. If you can get people to do it, it's fun as hell. Like if you can get people to play together, but it's so hard. You wouldn't think in a gaming community of all places, you know, it'd be hard to get people to play together, but it is, especially this community. Like I could vouch for everybody in this podcast. I know I could get you guys in a tournament, but for other people in this community, I could name lists of names that will say one thing and do another. You know.
right. Well, and then like another aspect, like I found attractive. Um, I mean, God of War was fucking off the chain. I mean, that shit was amazing. And Horizon, I don't know the name of the chick. And I said this before, like I find that whoever that chick is in Horizon, she's just far more appealing to me than Laura Croft. You know, I was a little disappointed that they didn't show something from Crash. Instead, they show Skylanders. Resident Evil looks fantastic, and I think the Resident Evil 7, I could be mistaken. I don't think the game's exclusive, but
No,
the
it's
VR
not.
portion, right? The VR portion is okay. And then the thing I found really attractive with Microsoft is that they announced 3 pieces of hardware, confirming one, which is the Scorpio, the Slim, and the controller.
Yeah,
And
and
then
they did those new controllers too. The
right, the
design
customizations, which I think at the time that I was involved in, you know, paying attention and getting information, it was the most talked about piece out of the whole three conference was the fucking controller, the customization, and people can, you know, brand it and all that shit. And then
that's where Sony falls short. That's one area. I don't
yeah,
care much for their controller. I love the DualShock 4. I think it's one of their best controllers, but at the same time, I just wish they would do more with it. Like it's just like look what Microsoft's doing with all these controllers, and Sony's just over here holding their dick in their hands with this controller.
yeah.
Like where's our SCUF controller or Elite controller for Sony? Like where's that at? You know, like I mean.
Another thing that's controversial is the whole like one stop the way his perspective is, right? It's like, you know, why release the Slim when you just announced the Scorpio? And so you're seeing it like from a competitive. Microsoft is not competing with themselves. Essentially, what they're doing, um, and I know we have an idea or our own definition of exclusive, what's separated and stuff like that. But essentially, there's going to be 2 consoles: those who can afford it and those who can't. It's not meant to replace one another. One of the sweet things was that everything you can do on your Xbox One, as far as your library and every single piece of game, is able to go right on the Scorpio. So that's a good thing that they're not going to make you hit the reset button. But that Scorpio is not designed to replace the Xbox. It's designed to be on top. It's a higher tier of the Xbox One for those who refuse. And I've been saying this for a little while. There are people out there that rather buy 10 fucking consoles than even consider a PC. You know what I mean? And me and Rambo and a couple other guys, we've been theory crafting. It's gonna be somewhere between $600 to $800.
I think it's gonna be $699.99. I'm still
Yeah,
going with that. I do
Yeah,
not think that
I
it's
can't
gonna be
argue
cheap.
that. Yeah, it's going to be high price.
yeah,
I don't know. The thing is, the is that like if Microsoft would have announced the Slim, because honestly they didn't have to announce nothing about the Scorpio. They really didn't. They announced the Slim. Y'all can if y'all watch the live stream, y'all see I was happy as fuck. Like I was ready to throw this Xbox from here all the way to GameStop to trade it in to go get that motherfucker if it was already ready. But when they announced the Scorpio and was saying that shit just crushed me. I'm like, I really wanted the Slim because I like how it looked. But I'm not for to trade in my Xbox. You know what I'm saying? And get like $50 for it. Chuck out another full price for the Slim. Then the following year, go out and get a $700, $800. That don't even. And even if you say,
yeah,
well, even if you use it as well, this Xbox is not for this group of people. You can say the same thing about the 360 versus the Xbox One. Xbox One probably wasn't for the 360 owners because a lot of people still ain't transitioned over. You got to look at it from those perspectives. You cannot try to create classes amongst a single community
Well,
because
the
the
thing
infighting
is,
is going to start regardless. It's something you won't be able to control.
yeah,
right. And
I
but
think the thing with consoles though, consoles are not the same as they used to be.
That's
Like
no,
true.
the
That's
whole
true.
motto, that's the pro that like I'm an old school console gamer and I'm used to they work with what they got. Now it's like, oh, we can just do it here better. The problem I'm gonna have with the whole thing with the Scorpio and the Xbox One, when this does happen and people say, oh well, we'll just stay with our Xbox Ones, we don't have to upgrade, blah blah blah. But when I start seeing way better, the game's not looking that great on the regular Xbox, and they look 10 times better on the Scorpio, and they're not even trying no more in these consoles because they know that's how. That's when I'm having a huge problem.
It's
well,
it's
yeah.
going it's gonna yeah. Go ahead, on time.
Oh, and the Slim, right? The Slim. I can't remember. I think it was Rambo who was thinking that not only that it's for the Slim, like the S stands for Slim. It could be a possibility, most likely, that it also stands for the standard. And what's going to happen is that they're going to fade out the way the Xbox Ones we have now. They're going to fade it out, and that Slim is going to be the new standard. And then on top of that standard, which is the Slim or the new standard, then the Scorpio is introduced. And the shit is Sony is doing pretty much the same fucking thing. So there's never been a generation like this. And for counts, and to be all honest, like me and One Stop, um, we don't need the Scorpio
No, we don't
because
need none of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
Xbox games are going to be on PCs, and that's the thing. Like, that's another thing. Even in my little group, there's some controversy about that. Like, they should name it Microsoft exclusive. And then I think it was Jay who made the argument. Then yeah, but you say Microsoft exclusive, but the consumer is going to be left at the store window looking like, well, what is it for though? Is it their phone, the Android, or the computer? They don't know. So if you look at the E3 presentation closely, notice how they use Xbox One, Windows 10 exclusive. So now they're seeing that the Windows 10 or the PC essentially, the PC and the console, essentially they're related. It's the same family. And then that's when they announced that when you buy the game, you buy it once, play it wherever you want on whether it's your Xbox or on your PC, essentially. So I don't, we don't need a Scorpio if we choose to decide to stay on PC. Because if
Right.
our PC is most likely, he got, One Stop got, beast of a GPU, so there's really no need for him if he's going to get those Xbox games on the PC. The Scorpio is really designed for people who refuse and don't want anything to do with PC because people buy things that they're familiar with. You know what I mean? The things that
Yeah.
they're comfortable with. So if I talk to someone who doesn't know much about PC, their first assumption is, well, I don't want to play on keyboard and mouse. Well, you don't have to. Well, I don't want to spend $1,500 on a computer. Well, you don't have to. You know what I mean? There's a process that they have to go through, and they don't want to go through that process. They just want to buy it in a fucking box, go home, plug it in, done. You know what I mean? And and so
did Sony announce I don't think Sony announced a Slim or a new any new hardware, did they?
Well, that's the thing. I could see Sony doing a whole 4K thing too. Like I could see them doing a model like that too. But
it's essentially just the Neo and the VR thing is all
okay.
it's all new. And some people are saying, well, now Sony's gonna counteract. I mean, you got to admit there is an advantage to going in last because you could make last minute adjustments to whatever was prior to that. But
and we know that Sony and Microsoft have 10 to 20 Neos and Scorpios in the back. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. They keep trying to tell me that, oh, no, it's impossible for Sony to change Neo and make it stronger than the Scorpion. I'm like, bro, all they have to do is say, look, they didn't ever show no console. So they can say, look, this is grab the more powerful one, to call that the Neo or whatever it's going to be called, and there you go. Because we haven't seen anything. It's not like they showed us a piece of hardware and showed us a box and say, look, this is what it looked like, and this is the thing. This is what it is. That was another disappointment too about Microsoft. They announced something. It's like believing in Jesus or God or whatever. they announce something but don't show you shit. They announced the Scorpion but don't show you what it looked like.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck? Why even announce if you're not?
They did that so they could run back. They didn't want to show it to you fully because they want to change things until when these companies come out and show you that and say this is what's in it, that's when they have to go with it. You know.
Right. And Sony was smart by not doing that. And people thinking that it was a bad thing. I'm like, all right. Every time you gotta admit, a lot of times I'm right when when I'm speaking in theory. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10. First of all, Sony didn't have to do that because they're in the lead. I'm quite sure everybody agrees on that. They have a really, really big lead, so they don't really have to rush out and try to pick up the pieces. There is no pieces for them to pick up right now. So they can sit back and wait and see what the competition is doing. That's the luxury of being in the lead. I mean, Microsoft had it last generation. You know, sit back and wait and see what they're doing. And I don't know, man. I just wish that they would have announced that Slim. They could have left that Scorpion out, you know, maybe 3 years from now. You know, that would have been perfect. You know, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But if they would have ended that show and like, you know, and then the Slim, blah, 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 let the Scorpio continue to be rumors, because not only that, because it's not going to be a bad thing that it's just rumors. It's still promotion. It's still hype. It could be an ongoing thing. You can use it. What happens if Sony do come out and announce that their PlayStation Neo is in fact more powerful than the Xbox One? Then what? Then what people are going to talk about?
I've been thinking about that, and it's like, why 6 teraflops? You know what I mean? And if I look at the GPU market, there isn't anything that's really out there like that. You know what I mean?
6 teraflops.
So, which is, I mean, just I hope you can trust me when I say Thanos, that's a lot of power, bro.
It is.
That's what I'm saying. Thanos and One Stop. You guys are PC guys. I don't know much about teraflops. What would that be of a PC? Is that just a powerhouse?
Boy? That's a boy. Niggas will give an arm if they can get one. I mean, seriously, that's some power right there.
So yeah, what I'm asking, this is what I'm asking. Basically, would that be an expensive PC?
Yes.
So is there a way for Microsoft to do this affordable?
Like,
well, the PS3. Remember what happened with the PS3?
Yeah.
Remember what the price was looking like?
Yeah.
We talking PS3 and a little bit of then some. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I say, they didn't show us, because Microsoft is also known for doing 180s, and they're also known for lying to the fan base. You got to understand something. Microsoft is in a position right now where they can lie directly to their fan base, change it and say, oh no, it's actually 4 teraflops, change it up, and their fans will still support them. They at least have that they have that type of support on their side. I don't know. I'm not gonna call them liars ahead of time, but I don't see, if they do come out with this and they're telling the truth about, you know, 6 teraflops and stuff like that, it's going to be very expensive, man. And one thing Thanos forgot to mention is that console gamers don't spend that kind of money on consoles.
I fucked up.
Yo, because he's right. I have to agree with you though. You're right. I'm gonna back you 100% when you said we just want to plug and play. We're not even because a lot of people going around trying to convince people. Oh, the Scorpio, you can just go and get you a PC. Console gamers do not buy fucking PCs. I didn't buy my PC to play games on it. It's just I'm gonna say it again. I bought it because I do a lot of editing and it cut back on my rendering time. It just it's like a bonus for me. If I want to play, shit, I can play in the best quality. Simple as that. But when it comes to playing like me, really putting in work on a PC, y'all got the wrong guy. I'm a console gamer, and that's what I'm gonna continue to be. And most people are like that play on consoles.
Do you guys, I want to ask both of you guys this and answer this honestly. Like, I'm just saying, both the same question pretty much. Now, me and Old Dirty were talking earlier how we feel. I know you guys feel different. But as a consumer that bought the Xbox One this summer myself, and I bought the PlayStation 4 day one, and these consoles have not even been out that long, I feel, in my opinion, these Scorpios and Neos, these consoles we got now are not the consoles we should have got. And I feel like we're getting kind of fucked over. Can you see my opinion at all, even though you guys are happy about this? Can you see where people could be upset with this?
I can see your complaint, but the Scorpio and the Neo was a part of the R&D during the PS4 and the Xbox One. They had this plan. They both had this plan during the process and during the prototypes. I mean, essentially, the Neo and the Scorpio, they're still in prototype, even though Phil. I read an article today. Especially that's essential. Like after E3 is all the interviews and stuff. That's where the juicy information.
That's where you're supposed to be paying attention.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys remember when they said Phil Spencer came out and stated a statement after the Neo was starting to be talked about, and he said that he would not alienate his consumer base? We won't do that.
He didn't.
Remember that?
Because you essentially, if you want to make the transition from Xbox One to Scorpio, you could just take your games with you, bring it over.
Oh, okay.
That's what they mean. Okay, real quick, the 6 teraflops. Teraflops is one form of measurement. That's essentially what it is. It's not giving you the entire picture. Teraflop is essentially it's measuring compute power. But remember, it's only one form of measurement. So it gives you a general idea of what kind of capabilities a system is capable of doing, but it's not giving you the whole picture. Yeah. So that's what teraflop means. And I'm thinking, or it's just a measuring tool of compute power. I have a feeling that Microsoft went with 6 teraflops not only to complement the capability, because it has to be compatible with the Oculus Rift, and the Oculus Rift, they want at least 4 to 4.5 teraflops to have that smooth experience, because VR, it's really high requirements.
Well, what's this whole thing? Remember with now there's been a lot of big channels that have reported this, that the VR, when it comes to the PlayStation on the regular PS4, does not run very well. Have you heard that?
Yeah, that comes from journalists who they got the system itself, and that's because if VR is displaying 2 images, both images have to be 90 frames and above. If it goes down to 89, that's how this. I'm telling you, this is how sensitive VR is. If it drops down to 89, it takes you out of the experience completely, because the screen is right in front of your eye. It's not like you can't notice it. So that's how sensitive VR. And that's one of the reasons. But I think 6 teraflops is beyond the budget of what Sony's willing to pay. So this is multiple meetings. When you're talking about Sony and Microsoft, they have multiple meetings, multiple conversations over the course of a year or two. You're talking about hundreds and millions of dollars of a decision to be made. And essentially, it's like this. I'm assuming, I'm not, I don't see the future, but I'm assuming AMD says, okay, which one of you is willing to take a profit hit? Essentially, that's what it boils down to. So if Microsoft is willing to take more of a profit loss, than Sony, then they're going to come out with a more powerful APU.
Yeah.
That's what it goes by. So I think Microsoft said, you know what, we know that if they go beyond 5.5, they're going to be in pain. They're going to take this. They're going to take it as a
I have a
loss.
question. Okay, now going from a console gamer standpoint, I'm not talking about like somebody has a bunch of money. I'm talking about the console gamers that have saved up all their money, whether they have a paper route or I'm talking about kids too,
Yeah.
wanted a PS4, that they wanted or an Xbox One, and they finally achieved it. They like, oh, I saved up all this money, or my mom bought me this, or whatever. And then they see this new Scorpio and Neo coming. Do you think they're gonna feel upset?
No, because well, yeah, it's really hard to.
I mean,
Because
but that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't think
because
they'll be upset. They're gonna be more salty because let's look at it from a realistic standpoint. Can you imagine, like Dave just said, working all summer, saving up all your allowances or saving up all your money in general? You finally made it to that next level, and then boom, the same year or the year after that, you're still fucking behind because they just hit you with something else. So all that saving up and thinking you finally did it,
Yeah,
just got poof.
Right, and that's the way it.
Hold on, but we're not talking a whole new console. We're talking an upgraded console. Like I could see if it was the PlayStation 5 we were talking about, or the Xbox 2. We're talking about the console that plays the same games but better. That's what I'm saying. Like they say, there is a lot of people that don't have much money that just can't go out and just buy console after console. They have to save up. That's just how it is. And there's people out there that work for a living that have to do that.
That's the thing, Dave. Gamers like you are stuck between a hard place and between a rock and a hard place, essentially, because it's the Neo is not required on your end, because you still can.
That's what I see people saying that as like a cop out. Like it's not that the problem is what I'm trying to say with this. It's kind of like when you look at the big picture, it's disappointing. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, you don't have to buy it. Like I was sitting next to a dude at work today. I work with the city. It's a government job, and I'm sitting there next to a guy that just bought an Xbox One, and he's watching this video with the other guy, and they're like, "This is the Scorpio," and he says, "I just bought an Xbox One. You mean to tell me they're making something of the same but better?" He said, "That's disappointing."
Yeah, One Stop went through that not too recently. I mean, not too long ago. I mean, he bought a GTX 980 fucking
Exactly. I want to choke me a bitch right now.
They just came out with the 1070 and 1080. Yeah.
I want to choke somebody, bro. Y'all
happens.
We get that idea from PC.
Yeah, that's a PC standpoint. That's not a console.
Always evolving. Consoles give you, a few years,
security,
7 years, and then you upgrade to, something better. We're not looking to upgrade, 2.5 years after we just bought. Hell, me a year with both. I'm pissed. Like, you should have brought shit out day one. Stop worrying about what other people doing and bring out the real console.
Oh, dirty. That's what I'm saying.
The consoles gave us. I just want to say it's quick. This is my personal opinion. I think I might be right about this though. I think consoles gave us a sense of security. When we bought, we knew what we was getting. We knew it was going to last for years to come, and we felt safe. We didn't have to worry about what PC owners had to worry about. And now I think that instead of adjusting to it, I mean, we're going to have to adjust to it eventually, but instead of adjusting to it, we're at that panicky-like stage right now. I mean, it's normal, though. It's a normal reaction because this is new. But think about it. That sense of security has kind of been, it's like being tugged away from us right now. Like, damn, if I buy, let's just say we buy the PS4 Neo, now we have to worry about, well, wait, damn, what if the PS5 come out next year or the year after? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think console gamers want to have to worry about things like that.
Well, can I ask you guys, because I know you guys don't like this, and I'm going to throw the same thing back at you. I want an answer. All right, a game comes out, and it's missing content, and it's all in the season pass.
Oh, my God.
The game comes out, and you tell me in your videos, because I've seen it from One Stop, I know I have. When the game's missing stuff that's in the season pass, how do you feel when that full fucking game ain't there?
Man.
And you gotta pay extra.
That's bullshit.
Well, that's how I feel with this console. It's the same shit.
Yeah, because you actually got a point, Dave. Because and that goes for Sony and Microsoft. When they gave us these consoles, they was not finished. And you know,
I could sit here and say, well, One Stop, you don't have to buy the season pass, and you could say to me, but Dave, I want the full experience. Well, you have to pay.
And that's what I've been saying. That's the mindset of a traditional console player.
Yep.
And One Stop said the most powerful word here today so far: adjust.
Yeah, but so are you telling me now okay, so you're telling me basically now we're not console gamers no more, we're PC gamers.
Welcome to the world of advanced technology.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But the traditional console is gone. It's gone now.
It's gone.
Yeah. And if your legs can't catch up as fast as the world is spinning, then you're gonna be left in the dust. And I get what you're saying.
One more question. Hold on. One more question. Okay, now I know you guys like it and everything, but I got to ask you a question. How many people do you think are going to go with this? Are the 40 million that are with the PS4 right now just going to say, hell yeah, the Neo? Fuck my console, I'm buying the Neo.
That's fine. The 40 million is irrelevant because what I want is the whole world, Chico. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this.
You think is going to be? Let's do a percentage. How many of the percentage do you think will eventually go to the Neo and the Scorpio?
More than 40. Because the Scorpio and the Neo is not designed to replace. So Sony and Microsoft, they're gonna make their fucking moolah regardless. Mm-hmm. They're gonna make their money and they're gonna sell consoles regardless. Sony will most likely do a better job of it, but at the end of the fucking generation, they're gonna sell consoles. They're gonna move consoles. You're talking about mega corporations who have a lot of money for advertisement, and that's pretty much programming for the sheep. And that's how it goes. And we're all a part of it, whether we know it or not. That's just the way it goes. But this is what I find mostly attractive. And if the fucking Neo, if Sony decides to go just a little bit higher than the Scorpio as far as teraflops, essentially PC guys, they're ecstatic because that's going to set a new standard on the PC. So developers are going to push. They're essentially going to make the PC games look even better.
They're going to have to. It's going to force them to.
Well, one thing too, like we were talking earlier before you guys came, how much crap did we hear at the beginning of this generation that we were going to see no loading times? Remember all the shit they said we weren't going to see no loading times? How much of with how they presented the Scorpio, they're like it's endless. Like I'm not saying I could be wrong in words, but they were using like words like endless possibilities, something along the lines of that. It's gonna be a monster.
It's Dave. That's marketing.
No, but I'm just saying, like, what's it gonna look like how it was this generation when they were promising 1080p 60 frames per second? Now they're promising 4K, and what if they don't deliver with these machines?
Have you ever seen a really good trailer to a really bad movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much that's how it really goes. But like the Scorpio, the thing that has me a little concerned is that they said 4K. That in the interview today, I'm happy. I read it. It's in Eurogamer, or I can't remember, Eurogamer.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer actually made the comparison. He made it, which that's giving us a confirmation, but it is just a comparison. He said that essentially the Scorpio, the power of the GPU, it's just a comparison. He's not saying it's better or higher or lower, but he compared it to a GTX 980, not a TI. He just said GTX 980, which is great, but great. I don't know. Yeah, like
whoa. But one GTX 980 Ti struggles with 4K.
That's the part that I'm trying to compute or comprehend or understand. And in that interview, I mean, remember, Phil's a PR guy. but they also speak CEO talk. That's corporate talk in a sense too. So you have to like break it fucking down. It's like you have to break down the hex and shit. He personally went to every developer, not every, many developers. 20 of them are in disclosure, meaning that he's not going to talk about any of their conversations. Pretty much he did what Mark Cerny did. And someone once asked me, what did Sony do right with the PS4? I said, you know what they did right? They got the drawing boards right. They made the right decisions even in the very beginning when Mark Cerny decided to go with GDDR5. Andrew House was like, that's really expensive. But Mark Cerny said, yeah, but that's what the developers want. So Phil Spencer went to developers and he said, what do I need? You tell me, how can we get 4K at 60 FPS? And he spoke to all of them. And that image at the E3 conference at the end, when they announced the Scorpio and they actually show the piece of hardware, Phil Spencer confirmed. He goes, no, that's not a mock-up or a prototype. That's the real thing. And he goes, I'm very proud of it. So it sounds like he has a lot of control of what this Scorpio, essentially it's his vision. It's not the other cocksucker fucking Don Matrix.
Yeah, Don Matrix.
Yeah, this is his vision. And he's essentially saying that, which I'm having a hard time comprehending. I mean, we haven't seen 4K at 60 FPS even on PC, but then again, PC guys knows that we get nothing but cheap fucking ports.
Yeah.
They're just cheap fucking ports. No company or it's very rare that a developer takes advantage of a 980 Ti. They're not taking advantage of the 5.6 teraflops of that shit. They're just porting it over, and by brute force, because there's so much power in the PC, they're able to fucking get the 60 FPS and the 4K resolution. Now remember, resolution is just resolution. It's not graphics.
All right.
Because another concern was, well, if games are going to be 4K, and we know that today in 1080p games are anywhere between, the average is 40 to 65 gigs, well, quadruple that.
Yes.
With 4K textures. So I'm assuming, okay, well, maybe, because, hard drive space is going to be more limited than ever, and people don't have the internet speeds. I mean, you're going to download it, wake up 2 weeks later, and you're at 2%, and you're going to be like, damn, that's fast, son. It's going to take a long fucking time. I'm thinking what they're going to do is they're going to stick to 1080p textures, but the screen is going to be 4K resolution. That's the only way I can think of them managing it. Or certain parts of the game, most of the game is going to be 1080p, and 4K will be mostly for the main characters and stuff like that, with blending in the environments, etc. Things like that of that nature.
And Thanos, I'm gonna throw this one at you. They never said that it was gonna have a disk drive either. We could be looking at a streaming device.
Did he mention? Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. Because he was talking about the S. Yeah.
Because you gotta remember they was like because remember Microsoft and I think Sony. No, Sony, I don't know. I think it was Microsoft and Sony, but I know for a fact Microsoft really tried to push that streaming. You know what I'm saying? Just stream the games and the power of the cloud and DirectX 12 and all that. Remember they tried to push, but we pushed back and they scrapped the idea. But now they talking about and there's another key word I want to throw at you. He never stated native 4K. He just say 4K.
That's why I was going to ask you guys. Do you guys actually believe that it's going to be true 4K or upscale?
Never. It's not going to be native 4K.
Like upscale.
Not native 4K and 60 frames unless those graphics is going to look like shit. We talk about Pac-Man graphics.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
We don't know. Yeah, I mean, he could be right. I could be wrong, or we just don't know. That's never been.
Well, and another thing too, with the price, like we said earlier, the price of these consoles is going to be expensive. Sony came out and said in that one statement that they put out for when they confirmed the Neo that they will not be selling that console at a loss.
Premium, in other words, meaning
so Thanos expensive. Because if we're not going to sell this console at a loss, y'all butt plugs is going to. I see it in the future. Butt
Well,
plugs
that's
are
what
going
I'm
to
saying.
skyrocket.
So it's going to be expensive.
Yes, yes,
That's just really confirming it's expensive
yes.
because if they're not selling it at a loss,
And
and it's just
Microsoft ain't going to take a loss either. You can believe that.
I'm
None of
saying
them
it's
are.
going to be a high-powered machine that costs a lot of money, and it's not going to be cheap.
But you know what I'm afraid of though? I'm excited and fearful at the same time. I don't even know if anybody ever felt like that before, but it's like I'm excited and fearful at the same time. My excitement is, oh shit, there's new consoles out there, but the fear factor kick in is like, wait a minute. This remind me of the what it's called. Y'all remember the fucking Steam machines when they had
Oh
all
yeah.
those different that shit
Yep,
flopped.
that
You
shit
them
flopped.
shits flop hard. They came out with the most powerful one. They had a mid-range one
Yep.
and the regular one. Now you do the math. Now tell me if I might be crazy, but it looked like Microsoft and Sony might be taking the same direction. People do not
And a
gravitate
lot
to
of
shit
people
like
don't
that.
know this, but Frozen Magma brought this up to my attention. I didn't even know this. I'm sure you guys know this, but I didn't even know this. There's 3 different models of the Slim.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that though.
Yeah, it's essentially the hard drive space.
Yep.
You got 5, 1 terabyte, and 2 terabyte.
Oh, that okay. That ain't
Yeah,
too much of a biggie.
yeah.
And
That's
what's
all.
the memory on this Scorpio? Like that's the thing. Like
Well,
what's
it's reading through the article. I'm telling you now, it's as far as RAM goes, it's going to be more than 8 gigs of RAM. Uh, I mean, it's going to have to be if you're going to deal with 4K textures. But it's nice that he did kind of.
what's the hard drives they're gonna roll out with these
I'm
things if
ass-
it's gonna be 4K?
I'm assuming it's going to. I mean, it's going to have to be 2 terabytes, which
Jesus.
is going to add to the. I mean, I would rather have them put a tiny hard drive, and people hate when I say that. They're like, oh no, no. I'd rather have them put a really small hard drive, and then let me decide what size I can put
Yeah,
because I get to
yeah.
control the price after that point. But they're not. They're going to most likely just put in
Well,
a
isn't
two
4K
terabyte.
gonna take up a lot of space in the patches if it's gonna do all that?
That's the thing, Dave. We don't know if these textures are they going to use 4K textures and just upscale it to 4K, or they're going to use 1080p textures, you know. But whatever it is, this console is able to handle a lot. And this is before I go, like essentially, there's 3 type of gamers after the E3. There's going to be the PS4 owners or the PS4 and Xbox One owners who are perfectly happy with what they got and they have no interest. They're perfectly fine with what they have. The second type of gamer is the ones who are, hey, if I can get it more powerful, more trees and more water and 4K, hell yeah, I'm gonna get it. Fuck a
Hmm.
price, right? And then essentially it's the third type of gamer, which is far the most complicated one, which is the one that's gonna bitch the most, is the gamer who feels neglected. Like,
Yeah.
man, I bought this, and you're playing with your PS4, and you're saying, yeah, I'm okay with it, but you glance over and you see those textures, and you see, that 4K, and then you're like, wow, it just looks so much better. And now you're fighting with yourself. Now you're confused because you want it, but it's out of your budget, and
So
it's
you
gonna
so you
hurt.
got no, but I'm saying there's like I can buy it. I can buy it if I want it. That's the thing. It don't bother
Mhm.
me. I'll buy both of them. But
But
I
you
don't
know
see
what?
I couldn't see
You know what
doing that.
confuses me though? Like when you do the math in general. I mean, I'm quite sure y'all know that it's only like maybe 1% in the whole world that are billionaires. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at everyday people and you're talking about bringing out consoles that cost a lot of money, you're really throwing a piece of steak in front of a starving child because that and be honest, that's kind of fucked up
Well, no,
because when
no,
you look at
but one thing too. Well, hold on, before I forget, I just want to say this too, since Thanos, how he brought up the whole 3 things. Like
Man, fuck
when
me
you
up.
go to a store, no, when you go to a store now, let's say a Best Buy, for example, when all this shit drops, even with Nintendo, because Nintendo's claiming that the NX is not a successor to the Wii U. So you're gonna walk into Best Buy, and I'm talking when all this shit's out, you're gonna see PlayStation VR, you're gonna see a Neo, and they're going to still sell the PS4. They're going to have a Scorpio, and they're going to still sell the Xbox One. They're going to still sell the Wii U, and they're going to have an NX. And they couldn't even market the fucking Wii U, telling that people didn't even know the difference from a gamepad to an actual console. They thought it was an add-on. How are they going to tell the difference all this?
Well, that's you see, but that's one perspective because people will say, well, the Wii U didn't sell well because the name is too familiar. Well, how about PS1, PS2, PS3? I mean, you can't get any more similar than that. It's just one number being changed.
But do you think people are just gonna think that this is just a like a Slim or something of like when they look at it like, oh, the Neo must be just.
It's going to be the price, and that's the point I was trying to make. When you look at the world in general, there are more poor people than people with money. That's a
Yes,
fact.
middle
And,
class.
exactly. So when people go in and see all those, I'm talking about more than half are going to buy the cheaper one. Because they're gonna ask, well, what's the difference between these two? Well, this one, but do they play the same games? Yep. Oh, give me that one. They're gonna go with the cheaper one. Now, the hardcore fans, of course, like us, we want the new shit, but we are not the majority. We're not. You know, I mean,
Right.
we're over. You know, we're fucking getting crushed by casual shoppers. That's
Thank
just
you.
the way it is.
I'm glad you said that because Phil Spencer even admitted that the Scorpio is only for a small portion. They know it.
Yeah, you know what? So I actually got something positive to say about this because that most likely that kind of released a lot of took a lot of my shoulders too. I'm glad he said that because now I'm assuming that he means that they're not going mass production with this, and if Sony is smart, they won't either. Because I'm gonna tell you about business. It's better to run out and have to resupply and then have a whole bunch of shit sitting on shelves collecting dust. I'm just being real.
And another thing that's odd that helps give us a comparison or a contrast. It's true that gamers are not or console guys are not known to spend a lot of money on a particular product. The part that's a little odd though, which is the contrast, is the Xbox Elite controller sold so fast and so rapid. Like it's still hard to find. And you have gamers who are dropping $150 for a fucking controller. You know what I mean? So that's another thing, to take into consideration. It's really hard, and I'll explain this real quick if I can. We buy things based on our emotions, based on how we feel. Everything we do is pretty much we're judging something so we can make a decision. And I don't go out and look at Ferraris. Why? Because I don't have the money for a fucking Ferrari. So why would I look at things that I know I can't fucking afford? And
Right.
it bothers me. It's not that the Ferrari is this. It's not that there's something wrong with the Ferrari. It's just way out of my fucking budget. And so, and you kind of hate it because it's so beautiful. You can look at it, but you can't touch it.
Right.
But if all of a sudden I'm a fucking millionaire or billionaire at night, now I'm going to go take a look at that fucking Ferrari because now I know it's within my budget. I know I could afford it. So therefore, something I hated, now all of a sudden I find attractive. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. So let me throw this. I don't want to lose track of this with the controller. See, what you got to remember is, I'm quite sure Thanos noticed a lot of gamers are already conditioned. Most gamers are, especially the casual. They're conditioned to buy certain things. But can you imagine if the games, like brand new games, was only $19.99 and Microsoft dropped a controller for $150? It would have flopped. When you say people bought the little controller and flew like shells because it wasn't that. The truth is, we're already conditioned to spend $150 just for fucking this as it is right now. So $150 wasn't nothing to them. But what if that controller was $350? It would have flopped. So people was already accustomed to spending at least about $100 anyway, because that's what we buy on games. So the controller wasn't too far. Now me, you, we already got a controller. We don't need another one. So yeah, that's kind of steep for just looking at it from a long range. But we're already accustomed to buying that. Now, when you're talking about a console going from between $700 to $800, or say 600, let's say 600, between 600 to 800, and we're coming from just buying a console for $399 and $499, that's different. That's a big.
yeah.
Well, that's what I want to say. So let's talk about
that's double.
Let's talk about next generation. So now that we're gonna have two types of consoles this generation, at different price points. How is next generation going to be? So they're going to have a low grade PS5 and a high grade, or is it just going to be a high grade? And is this going to raise the bar and consoles are just going to be out the water now when you buy them?
Oh shit.
Yeah, nobody's talking about this. This could be raising the bar of the prices of consoles for like next. How is it going to go?
I got a better one, Dave, and nobody asked this one. Do y'all still think we're gonna be paying $59.99 for them fucking games?
Oh no! The games are going to go up. They're already going up with the season passes. Sooner or later, it's just going to be the
season pass. You're going to be crying for season pass. You're going to be crying to go back to just regular distance season pass. We're talking 4K.
But see, that's defeating. This is all defeating the purpose of a console. A console is meant for affordable gaming, and PC was the high end stuff. And now it's just consoles are going to be like that.
That's a part of life. Things change.
Because that means developers are gonna. It's going to cost developers.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it changed for the worse, or sometimes it changed for the better. But
Dirty, what if you? I have a question. Let's say, Dirty, what if you went next generation and all this takes off? Like everybody's just buying the Neo and the Scorpio, and Microsoft and Sony go, you know what? We're just gonna make high end machines. We're not even gonna fuck with these little like $300-$400 machines. What if you? But there are some people that are not happy with this, and they want to still game. You're going to have to come up with that type of money because it's accepted now? And what would you feel, Dirty, about that? Would you still game?
I would have to just be with Nintendo because to me, it's just going to be outrageous. Like I said, last generation, before these consoles ever came out, I told everybody when I was in podcasts, I said the DLC is getting out of hand this generation. Next generation, nobody better not say shit because y'all not speaking up now. And now look where we at. So now I'm looking at it as, okay, if people rush out to get these high-end consoles or whatever you want to call them, that makes Microsoft and Sony look at it like, oh, you know what? We can do this every 2 to 3 years whenever we want because these gamers are going to buy it because you know what? They're puppets. All they want is teraflops and graphics. That's all they want. And we can give it to them every 2 to 3 years, and they're going to eat it up at a high price.
I can't wait to see how much. Do y'all have any idea how much it's going to cost for developing team to make a game in 4K 60? Bro, these games are going to be fucking expensive.
Well, but the thing is, like, is that going to, it's really all how these sell. If they sell well and people do flop their consoles and go trade them in and buy these consoles, that is going to raise the price for consoles to begin with day one. Like when the PS5 rolls out, it's going to be expensive off the rip. You're talking $700-$800 consoles next generation if this works. I don't see them. If people do adapt to this, they're not going to fuck with.
You know what would have been a smart? You know what would have been a smarter move for Microsoft? They should have said they shouldn't have gave us like a release date so close to the Slim. They should have gave us like a release date to guarantee people, like, if you was to go out and buy Xbox right now or Slim right now, don't worry, you still got a few years ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? You can put game for a couple of years before you can even jump ship. They put people in the position of like, do I go get one or do I just wait for the best shit that come out? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. The Scorpio come out of what he said, 2018, right?
2017.
27. Oh my. See, I think 2018 holiday. That's almost, you might well say 2019. Think about it. That's another 3 years. If I go and buy an Xbox right now, I can enjoy all the games for at least 3 solid years. You see what I'm saying? That's a comfort zone.
So you're in a real weird position. If you didn't buy these consoles yet, you got to take a hard choice.
Yeah,
deciding whether you're going to waste your money on something like this. If you know you have the money to buy, you know, the Neo or whatever.
But Dave, it's not all doom and gloom just yet. You got to remember now, they're still working on this stuff. Now Microsoft can easily come out and say, oh, give us, those is a good reason. Like, look, it's some things we need to make sure is 100% blah blah. We had to delay it. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I think that'd be good too. Keep the hype going. I mean, if that could be part of the strategy, they just use it as a marketing tool to get people hyped up, blah, 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 you know, keep some attention on themselves. And if that's the case, that's smart as fuck. Very smart. But I also want to give Microsoft, because this is something nobody's talking about either, but even though I got gripes with it, I still got to give them credit. These motherfuckers are bullying their way this time. They're and I asked them to do that, and I asked them to do it like this, but they're bullying the game right now. They're like, oh, really, motherfucker? All right. We got the best shit on the market. We spending top of the line dollars. We got the money, so we're gonna bully these motherfuckers since they don't want to buy down. You know, so hey, when your backup is against the wall, stand up and stand your ground. And I give them credit for doing that. I think the release date is the only really gripe that I have. It's a little too soon. I don't mind the bullying though. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind that because bullying is still part of competition.
But see, this is the thing I don't understand with all this. How it just came out the blue. Nobody asked for this. All we wanted to do was enjoy the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I'm happy with what I'm seeing on my TV.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with these graphics. Nothing. And I want to know where these people at.
And I'll tell you, because the job of the consumer.
I just want to say, keep carrying on, guys. 'Cause I got to run out for just 1 minute, but I'm gonna be right back.
We got ya.
The job of the consumer is to consume. It's not their job to be a mathematician. It's not their job to be a bookkeeper. It's, you know, those are not their responsibilities. They're trying. Consumers don't know what they want until they're told to want it. It's the same thing with remasters. Not anyone here, but I'm just saying, like, for the majority, from what I've gathered in my, you know, small world, from what I've heard, when remasters and remade games or whatever it's called, I mean, so many fucking versions of it, but essentially when remasters were being first spoke of, people were pissed about it. They didn't want that. They wanted new games. And now we're to the point where people, they're just, they can't ask for enough remasters. You know, and a perfect example would be Crash. You know, it's now because they have to. It's like what One Stop says. Another powerful word. It's conditioning. It's fucking conditioning the masses. So they know through marketing how to make something appealing. You know, it's kind of like a song. Like, I don't know if you ever heard a song, you didn't like it, but guess what? The more you hear it, the more you like it.
You end up learning the fucking lyrics and shit. I know what you're talking about.
It's same concept basically. And like, you're right, we didn't ask for a 1.5. We didn't ask for consoles to be or upgraded or an upgrade version of a console. But their job is to sell, and your job is to buy.
And you know, Thanos, you're right. It's their job for them to sell. But us in the community on YouTube as gamers, it should be our job to raise a voice and be like, no, we don't want this. We don't want to spend. Even though I can go and get the console if I want, it's the principle. Nigga, I just brought these a year ago. Now you telling me you should bring something else that's better than what I have here? And then if I try to trade it into GameStop is smiling at me looking through the window like, yeah, come on in here. I'm about to give you $125 for them. And you just
okay.
But by that time, we're talking about a year from now. By that time, you won't get that either.
Exactly. That's what I said earlier.
Explain that to me, Old Dirty. Explain to me, why does that bother you?
It bothers me because Microsoft and Sony, I don't know. Okay, this whole thing with the 4 and the 1. If they had a vision, they should have kept the fucking vision until now. Stop looking at you. Everybody say Nintendo is not a competition. Then why the fuck did you rush these consoles out if you knew you was coming with something better? If you knew you was coming with VR and you knew that the consoles that you had on paper because you seen the Wii U but didn't know what the Wii U was going to do, you should have said, screw Nintendo. They're not competition. Let them be out there for 2 years. But what we're going to bring out is going to be what we're bringing out now. And just let the fans know. We could have went another year or two on the PS3 and 360. There was nothing wrong with those graphics. It's like each game that came out in its cycle, they got better and better.
Okay, so here's this. Why are you under the impressions that the companies care about you?
You know what? I'm under the impression. I know they don't care about me, but I know when we don't stand up for something like this, all it's going to do is make them say they love it. Keep giving it to them. Look, like me and Dave just did about the Call of Duty.
No, 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 don't do that because that means you're bashing the corporation.
Hey, that Call of Duty, nobody knew what it was when we seen it at Sony. Everybody was trying to scratch in their head. Oh man, what game is this? This look fun as hell. God damn, what is this? And then when they showed you, then you was like, damn, that's Call of Duty. But nobody went back when the first time they showed the trailer, and then they showed the trailer for Modern Warfare, the remake. Nobody said that. It said that you only get 10 maps. How the fuck you gonna give me a remake and only give me 10 maps and not all the maps that I paid for 15 years ago on the 360?
Because they're gonna sell you the rest of the maps. They're gonna sell you the rest of the maps. I've been called this shit out.
One stop. This is what I'm talking about. As us gamers, we should be standing up like, no, we brought this shit 15 years ago.
But that's you see the problem is that video game is an addiction.
I might be the only person that made a video about the maps and shit. I think I was, because I even called out that big YouTuber, T-Mart. You know, he like the biggest Call of Duty YouTuber, and he made a video, and he's got millions of subscribers, bro. And this dude is praising I mean, he literally made it sound like it was a good thing that we was getting less. Like I just went in, but nobody. They were like, oh, but see, the thing is, people only remember my Microsoft videos. Nobody talks about when I go in on a particular developing team. I went in on Activision, EA, you name it. You know what I'm saying? They don't remember that. They just remember Microsoft, Xbox. He hates that, man. I hate bullshit. That's it.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff that we need to speak up on and stop speaking on the fucking 900p and 1080p. Fuck all that, because the shit looks the fucking same.
Bro, that's the best thing that ever happened to Microsoft and Sony. Don't you not know that? Us arguing about P's is the best thing that happened for these corporations. These motherfuckers took it. I mean, they think about this. Growing up playing video games, right? It was some games they literally so broken, but that was like funny. They did it on purpose. Did you see Assassin's Creed? Come on, bro. When they could have dude, soccer moms would have burnt the building down if they would have brought a Christmas gift, a video game, a Nintendo game. They stick it in there, and they mom, I'm falling through an infinite loop, or the soccer moms would have been pissed. Now that we've worried about peas, these companies are giving us half a game for $60. Yep. A broken game for $60.
Let me simplify what one stop saying, because I know there's some people there who heard what he just said and they can't comprehend it. What he's saying, which is he's correct, it is a good thing. It's good, not 900p and 30 FPS and 28 FPS, not in that standard. He means that we were given a tool to measure what these corporations, developers, and publishers are giving us. Mm-hmm. That we can measure what they're giving us. You know what I mean? And through the measurements, we've discovered, like, we're not getting the full 12 inches. You know, we're not getting our money's worth, basically. We're getting gypped. So they create, and this is what they do. They're masters at this. You're talking about decades of mastering marketing, the ability to create the illusion so they can get what they want, and what they want is in your fucking pockets. You know what I mean? And so it's an addiction, because when the price of season pass went up, well, when it didn't go up, right, with Fallout, especially Fallout, you know, when that went up, no one bitched about it, because it was a game that the majority preferred. Now, if it was a game like Call of Duty or Metal Gear, if that shit would have went up to $50 for the season pass, oh, the whole world would have bitched about it. Everybody would have had a problem. You see what I'm saying? So people are biased. They're more forgiving when it comes to something that they like. It's okay if Fallout has their season pass at $50 and above, but it ain't okay if Call of Duty do it. You know, when Activision does it, oh, those motherfuckers are greedy. When fucking Fallout does it, oh, I like that game. You know what I mean?
It's
And
just
yeah, that's
just
how it is.
when we had Tekken X Street Fighter, when they told us about the DLC, that's one thing that I hate now. When they before the game even comes out, they're talking about the DLC. So that's letting me know that you done took some shit out the game because you should not tell me about DLC before a game is released. Now, if you want to tell me after it's released, a month or whatever, I'm fine with that. But don't tell me 3, 4 months in advance before this game come out. And then when Capcom did that shit, I'm waiting on the community to just pour. I'm like, yeah, we should get ready and stand up. Motherfuckers didn't say shit. They was like, this game is awesome. I don't care it's locked on the disc. This fucking game is awesome, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
want Capcom to unlock all this shit for me instead of me doing it myself. I'm
Well, I
like,
can't,
you
man.
motherfuckers.
Well, I can't wait to see all the definitive editions and the exclusive Scorpio and exclusive Neo editions. And y'all think we got remasters now? When they drop these consoles, trust me, they're gonna remake and remaster and reboot and directors uncut raw editions us to death.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
for one,
the thing
it's
is
going to
though
take
with
them a long time to create. You gotta understand something. 4K, it's going to take them longer to create a game. They got to fill in those gaps for
Yup,
one.
they're gonna reuse, they're gonna
Man,
remaster stuff they've already remastered. It's gonna be a ripoff.
They're gonna take like I can see Microsoft taking Scream Ride and saying it's in 4K now.
Well, check this out. Check that. Here's a perfect example, man. Check it out. 4K. The loading times on 4K is going to be a lot longer.
oh
You're talking
shit, you
about
got good point. Good
you're
point.
talking about huge load times, especially if it's running through the CD. But they're not going to do that because it's going to be offloaded onto the hard drive. So the hard drives are going to be pretty fast, but it's still going to be longer than we're accustomed to now. Here's a question. One stop.
What's up?
You played Skyrim, right?
I love that game. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you love that motherfucker.
That's my
Now
bitch right
check this
there.
out. Did you ask for a remaster?
No, I did not.
Where the fuck where's that coming from then?
I have no idea. They
Right?
pulled it out their ass and you know what they said, you asked for it. So here, you know what I learned, that's another brainwashing tactic too. They'll come on stage and say,
Uh-huh.
you guys asked for it. Now here it is. I'm like, no, we didn't. Who the fuck is they? I'm looking around like, damn, Thanos, did you ask for that? Fatal, did you ask? Who the fuck? Who was they talking to? These people are talking to invisible gamers.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody I know, people who love Skyrim, not even a hint or a single ounce of an imagination of a remaster. Everybody wants just a newer, bigger, better version
Yeah, we
or the
said
next
Skyrim
Skyrim.
6. We want
Yeah.
what is the new Skyrim? Skyrim 6. Them motherfuckers gave us a
Yeah, I
with
mean, it does look
DLC.
good. I mean, yeah, it does look good, but essentially, it's like that. You see, that's what I mean. They're telling you what you should want. It's
Hmm.
up to you to delegate whether that's what you want or not. And this is the funny part. If the majority wants it, then that's the way it is because the majority are going to dictate and or delegate what the
Hmm.
hardcore is going or the direction that the hardcore audience is going to go into.
I agree.
You know, and a little thing that got me a little nervous today. um, Somebody mentioned it to me, so I can't fully quote it verbatim, but something about Ubisoft. They acknowledge Nintendo and the NX, and they're going to work with the NX, but they're going to cater towards the casual market.
Wow.
So does that mean are we going to look at a whole bunch of mobile games on the
Oh
NX?
my God.
Well, I
You
think
know?
with Nintendo, I don't want to go a lot longer with this podcast, but Nintendo, I think they don't see it. I hate to say this because I know people love Nintendo. There still is a small, very small few that do like home consoles with Nintendo. Like But I think Nintendo sees no money in the home console market, and they're gonna go. This is their way to go fully into the handheld. They're just gonna do like a half mixture console, which basically is a handheld, but you can put it on your TV too.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
I'm just gonna wait and see, man, because
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, the virtual reality handheld. Can you believe that? I mean, I think.
That's if we're assuming that it's VR. You know, some people are
No,
saying
they said
VR.
that was something that DigiTimes released, that they were going to do VR with a handheld. They said it all in the article. It said a home console mix, with a handheld and it was VR. Like, that's nuts.
Did that come from Nintendo
That
themselves?
Well, it's DigiTimes, and they've been pretty correct with a lot of stuff. They've been on point with that's where they had that big thing about the NX. And then it was
Yeah.
confirmed that there is an NX, so it isn't just like one of them bogus rumor sites. They were pumping out good rumors with a lot of stuff with the Wii U and all kinds of stuff. But I'm gonna end this podcast. I didn't mean to go this long. Thank you guys for your.
Why you laughing? I
No,
know
it's
why you
just
laughing.
it's a good podcast. I
Yeah, it
hope
was
we
real
keep
good. It was
going.
real good.
But yeah, thank you, One Stop, for joining as always.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Appreciate it. Hope you come back. Thank you, Thanos, as always.
Yes, Thanos is signing out, and the people in the chat or whoever listens, eventually you'll get to understand that One Stop is like my ex-internet husband, and every now and then he pisses me off, and he owes me child support, and he won't fucking pay me, and it's just, this is what we do. We after chat, we get
Yeah.
along, everything's fine. It's just entertainment. We didn't fill in Dave, they fucked up, but anyway, great podcast, and thanks for the invite, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy, for joining, and thank you, Old Dirty 33, as always.
I need a DNA, goddamn it, DNA. I ain't paying a dime until I get that DNA, goddamn it. But yeah, man, this is what we do. This is what we do.
Gotta pay my child support. I was like,
But yeah, thank you, Dirty. I appreciate it.
gonna get that Scorpio for the kids.
This boy crazy.
But yeah, shut this down. Till next time, guys. Thank you, and most likely there should be a podcast Friday. If not, see you next time.